bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture and hot topics. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we have quite a few topics to spill today, including we got to talk about this box office. The Devil Wears Prada was going head to head with Michael. Well, to let you know, I think you can pretty much figure out which movie came out on top, and it wasn't Mama Say, Mama Sama, Maku Sa. But we're going to get into some more of that Michael stuff because Spike Lee has come out and defending the film and saying that, giving a bunch of excuses on why people are critiquing the fact that a lot of the stuff that was going on in Michael's life wasn't included in the movie. Plus, there's a story floating around. I think we mentioned it a couple of times on the show that Janet's absence from the movie is tied to some drama going on behind the scenes within the Jackson family. We'll get into that. Plus, I got this old clip I had to pull up of Paris Jackson throwing some shade at the Michael movie. So we're going to get into that. Plus, we got to talk about Tanta and the fact that her and Sabrina Carpenter has been numbered this week's favorite new song, and there's a certain demographic of baby critters that are upset because people aren't featuring them Timu house music tracks from the Devil Wears Prada 2 soundtrack, but they're mad that Madonna has come back to reclaim her throne, which the Queen of Pop never left. So we'll get into that. Plus, we got to get into them still being upset because Shakira done broke Gaga's record over there at Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro. Plus, we got to get into this story about M.I.A. She was out here showing her entire ass, and Kid Cudi showed her ass the door. So we'll get into that tea when we get to all of that. Plus, we got to talk about Nick Cannon out here being a damn simp yet again, talking this foolishness about how he's got double standards when it comes to his twins rock and roll that he has with Mariah Carey, saying that Moroccan can get out there and date, but Monroe, she got to prove to him and I guess write a whole goddamn citation and give blood and do all this other mess. He gonna have her going through some damn challenges like The Challenge, or what's that show over there on Netflix, the Korean show. He gonna have her doing all of that mess, or American Gladiators, just so that way she can have a little boyfriend. So we'll get into that. Plus, we got to talk about Britney Spears pled guilty to that situation at DUI, and then we got to get into the blessed Madonna calling out Róisín Murphy again because Róisín Murphy decided to play the victim after she was out here saying some foolishness about the trans community. Now she wanna, whine and say, "Oh, they're canceling me," blah, 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 blah. And bless Madonna still had to come out, throw some more shade at her. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. So before we, there's not a lot of big topics going on today, but this is all the stuff I can muster for now, unless there's some breaking news y'all want to throw in my direction. Y'all can definitely send up here if y'all want to talk music or whatever to fill out the show. We could definitely do that. But before we get to these topics, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats, super stickers. You can also hype the channel. You can share it with your friends, your group, your loved ones, whatever. As long as we can get this show out there, we almost at 4K. Yes, it's the little show that could. And I appreciate all the fans, old and new, or followers, I should say, that not only follow the show in silence, but also those of y'all that want to kiki with me and throw some shade in the chat, which we like to do when we do the live. So hold on, let me hit this thingamabob. You're so stupid. I want to hear the M.I.A. story. I just heard it just now. I saw the clips all over Twitter. TikTok. I was going to say Twitter. Happy Michael Wears Prada Day, because the same audience that saw Prada went for the gays and the women. But then Michael Jackson didn't only just have gays that went to go see him. It was a lot of black folks. I don't know if a lot of black people went to go see The Devil Wears Prada. Notice how all the allegations and you said Dan Reed and all that disappeared when everybody realized that the film was a success and had a huge potential to dethrone Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't think it came out in Asia yet, right? I don't think it has. But anyway, let me hit my banner. And without further ado, Let's talk box office. So gird your loins, everybody, because The Devil Wears Prada 2 basically kicked off the summer, movie landscape and dethroned Michael after a week of it dominating the box office. Now, don't cry from, Michael Argentina, because the Michael movie is still financially profitable. It is doing well, but let me get into the story so that we could break on down what has been. Oh wait, hold on, that was the wrong thing. Thank you. What's the tea? Now tell me what's the tea. So movie theaters are in vogue again, at least based on the blockbuster turnout for The Devil Wears Prada 2. Disney star-studded sequel has defied box office expectations with 77 million in its opening weekend. Those ticket sales tower above the original, which launched to 27.5 million domestically in 2006. Damn, that movie came out that long ago. I forgot. That's like 20 years ago. Jesus, time flies. They also rank as the fourth best start of the year behind Michael's 97.5 million. Now, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, 131 million, and Project Hail Mary with 80 million. Prada 2 racked up another 156.6 million at the international box office, bringing global ticket sales to 233.6 million for the weekend. Now, Disney's 20th Century Studios spent lavishly on the sequel, which was produced for roughly $100 million, not included the worldwide marketing budget. Now, to compare, the first film carried a price tag of about $40 million, not adjusted for inflation. Now, director David Frankel told the New York Times the sequel's budget mostly went to the cast. Already, the studio's investment in more Prada is proven to be money well spent. The second film is poised to outgross the original's lifetime haul in a matter of weeks. And I also feel like maybe this movie is successful because the nostalgia of it all, the fact that we are in an era where a lot of the generations, mine included, you got a lot of the Gen Xers, you got some millennials, Xennials, whatever you want to call it, that are starting to feel that whole nostalgia thing. So a lot of things that we liked growing up or part of our childhood, whatever the case is, when they make sequels to those things, it takes them back to a time of how they felt when they saw the first film. Then I heard Meryl Streep make some little remark about cinematic universes and sequels. And so I said, well, ma'am, you was in one. I mean, you just did the sequel to The Devil Wears Prada and was paid a pretty penny for it. Paid a pretty penny for it. Say that 10 times fast. And I wouldn't be complaining. I mean, you took a check. Now the reviews on it has been mixed. From what I've been hearing, I haven't gotten around to seeing it yet. I was supposed to see it this weekend with friends of the show Sailor Mermaid, but apparently I've been extremely busy. I finally got my schedule for the NBA playoffs regarding the Knicks. They're playing their first game against the Philadelphia 76ers tonight. I'm not doing that one, but I'm working the Wednesday one. So I had to wait on it was a lot going on and me working and stuff. So I didn't have time to go out this weekend, but I'm going to try to catch it last weekend, but I'm going to catch it this weekend. But I know Mortal Kombat 2 comes out this week. So it'll be interesting to see how that film does up against, Michael and The Devil Wears Prada. Because I'm assuming the second week, the ones that are going to go see Devil, because I feel like the core audience of who wanted to go see The Devil Wears Prada already saw the movie. I don't know if they're gonna go back for repeat viewings. I don't even know if this movie is worth repeat viewings because I haven't seen it. Now, if I saw it, then I'd be like, okay, I could definitely see if like maybe it's worth the repeat viewings, whatever the case is. But I don't know as of yet. So we'll just have to see how it all turns out. But Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out this week. I'm excited for that one. It's been getting great reviews, and we'll see how those numbers do. Because I know there were some people that was worried that that Mortal Kombat being removed from October and pushed to like spring of this year in May, that was gonna hurt it in some sort of way. And I don't think it is, because it's a movie. Well, it's not necessarily for kids, but a lot of people grew up on Mortal Kombat, myself included. I played it on, what was it, on Sega Genesis, PlayStation. I had the very first Nintendo, so it's like I had all the machines. I had the very first Nintendo. I had a Game Boy. I had the PlayStation, all of them. I even got a PlayStation 5, and that's how I watch my DVDs and stuff, because I don't have a DVD player, so I watch it on my PS5. And so yeah, I had all the game consoles growing up. Luckily, I was one of those kids that was able to have all that stuff. But anyway, so we don't need to get into what the movie's about, but like I said before, because I didn't read this article and they literally saying what I said. They said The Devil Wears Prada 2 benefited from nostalgia as well as the excitement of the original cast. Of course, having Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci up in there, you already know that that was going to be a crucial point in getting the gang all back. Can't with each other. And the fans that seeing that everybody's back, seeing Pussycat Dolls, that's how they work. You got to bring everybody back in order to get that nostalgia thing going. You can't just bring back 3 out of the 6 members and expect people to just want to see the movie based off of just Meryl Streep alone. It's like, nah, we need Meryl Streep and we need Anne Hathaway. And of course, you need Emily Blunt with her little shady one-liners to throw up in there to balance it all out. Oh, yeah, and you can't forget Stanley Tucci, playing the sassy homosexual. So we need all of that. So congratulations to y'all. But they also said, oh wait, let's get into the Michael stuff. So Michael came in second with a massive 54 million in the second weekend, down just 44% from his debut. Lionsgate music biopic, as you know about Michael, has been a major draw with 183.8 million in North America and 423 million dollars globally. Now, Universal's animated Super Mario Galaxy landed in third place with 12.1 million. After 4 weekends of release, the family film has earned 402.67 million domestically and more than 900 million dollars globally. So, can we see this movie possibly being $1 billion film? I don't know because I can't stand Chris Pratt, but I'm glad that he got a little hit out of this, whereas he couldn't even sell tickets for Mercy. That shit's already on Prime Video if you want to watch it. Now, Project Hail Mary was number 4 with 8.5 million, another solid hold for the space epic in its seventh weekend of release. I'm so upset that I never got a chance to see um Project Hail Mary in theaters, but I wanted to see an IMAX or Dolby or one of those, but by the time I got around to actually wanting to see it, it wasn't in those formats anymore, and I didn't want to see it on like a regular screen because I didn't feel like I would get the same effect or the same type of vibe where that movie needs to be seen on a big screen. It's like me going to the movies and seeing Doom or going to go see Avengers Doomsday in a small ass theater. I'm like, no, with a janky ass audio system. I'm like, no, I have to see this on like the biggest screen possible and the best surround sound. So unfortunately, I missed it. So I'm gonna just wait until it comes out on streaming and then, well, not even streaming. When it comes out on Prime Video, I'll probably rent it. And if I like it enough, I'll buy it. And I'll just, listen, like watch it on my big screen TV and my surround sound and call it a day. I'll get the experience in the comfort of my own home. So now, one of the movies I did want to see that I haven't gotten around to see is the Adam Scott horror movie called Hokum. I've been hearing so many great things about that film. Um, but they said it did well. It came in fifth place with 6.4 million from 1,855 theaters. And now Adam Scott plays a writer who travels to an Irish inn to spread the ashes of his parents, unaware that the estate is haunted by an ancient evil. The film earned a B grade on Cinema Score, which is strong for a horror genre. Yeah, that I'm hearing the movie's getting good reviews. It'll probably do well based off of it being a small little independent film. But a movie like Hokum, that should have been released in October. But you want to know something? October gets oversaturated with horror films anyway. So it's hard to try to jump bundle so many scary movies in that time frame. So just release them when you release them and we'll catch them when we catch them. So why every time I think of Animal Farm, I think of the porn movie. But they apparently have this movie Animal Farm that's out in theaters, which is an Angel Studios production. So, and that got lousy reviews and a C minus score. So that's that religious production company. Of course their movies is ass. What do you expect? It's Angel Studios. Who's in that? Is that one of those what's his name? The one that plays Shazam. Is that one of them damn movies? Because his career is in the toilet at this point, so that's what he's been resorting to. He's been kind of thrown. That's kind of like where his career is right now, in the toilet and doing those religious little church movies. But anyway, so congratulations to all the big films that are doing well at the box office. And you know what? The Devil Wears Prada too. I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? And did you see the movie? Um, what did you think of the film? Does it I mean, is it a worthy sequel or is it just, just nostalgia, fan service, gobbledygook that just made a shit ton of money because, like I said, people was feeling nostalgia about the film. Also, I know people were complaining that the Madonna Anna Wintour cameo that was advertising the Confessions 2 album. They were saying that it was playing in theaters before the movie because Madonna was supposed to have a cameo. It didn't work out, but they ended up using that footage as a way to promote her new album. So it's been playing in some theaters, and I'm hearing it hasn't been playing in other theaters. But the good news is, look, even if you don't see it in theaters, one of the great things I've noticed about now, because it's been happening with movie trailers and stuff, when they said you have to exclusively go to the movies and see it, by Monday, it's already on the internet. And this morning when I woke up, I already saw it. I posted on my social media the Madonna cameo with Anna Wintour advertising the Confessions 2 album is already on her. It was on her YouTube channel. I saw it on Instagram. I saw it all over the place. So she posted it up this morning. So you really didn't have to go to movies to look for it. So if you missed it, hit up social media, watch it. There it is. So everything else regarding this whole story, I definitely want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below. Wait, hold on. Now I gotta open up the because I always forget I have to open up this new thing. I don't know what happened to my other thing, like because I went and I cleared out my computer, and then so remember when I was doing like two videos? So I would do one on like when you could watch it on the phone and one on the thing. I don't know what happened. Once I started clearing my history and those other mess, because I was like, I need to, I don't know, maybe that was helping with well, let me know what this. Am I freezing right now when I'm talking to y'all? Let me know in the comments and all that other stuff because I was like, maybe that would help if I started clearing out my history and all the other mess. So I don't know if that's messing up the thing but yeah, I don't know what happened with the little thing. So now I'm just doing it the regular way, which you go and watch on the laptop or whatever. Like you said, notice how wait, who are we talking about? Oh, we talking about Michael Jackson? Well, they was talking about that haircut that little remember that little short bowl cut that he had? They said, oh, he was that was he was wearing rocking that haircut before the K-pop kids. Maybe he was on to something. Well, I've been saying that for the longest. Where you're saying that females want movies for them. The problem that one of the things that has been going on. I don't know why Hollywood hasn't realized this, but there has been a huge shortage of female-driven movies. We've seen it so many times. Why do you think like the Colleen Hoover movies are so successful, or things in that whole wheelhouse? Women are consistently neglected at the box office, and women want to see these movies, but they're not making you said, "Hello, how you doing?" When did they lose? No, they won the last game. They won the game the night that I worked the Peso Pluma concert. They whooped Atlanta's ass. Second quarter, it was 72 to like nine. I mean, what was it, like 15 to 16? They whooped that. They were like they had a 60-point lead, and by the second quarter, they waxed that. Look, child, if Belta ass was a game, that's that game. Literally, I watched the highlights. I went on YouTube the next day because obviously if I'm working, I can't watch the game. I got the update of the score from the security guys that I was working with on the floor. So they were sitting there letting us know like the score and all that, which I always love about the people I work with. We all be in it together when it comes to the score and stuff. So, or what's going on. So, they kept me updated. I was happy. Then when I went home and I watched the video, I watched. But child, let me tell you, I literally, and I was telling a friend of mine this at work. I was like, I literally started tearing up when they were winning. He's like, "You really are a Knicks fan?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." And it was particularly the same when Josh Hart hit that three and um cute ass Alvarado came over. He was like, "Let's go." And started beating up his chest and they picked each other up and there was all this stuff. And I was like, I just felt the emotion there. So no, the Knicks didn't lose. They had to sit and wait to find out which team they were going to play. So they're playing the 76ers tonight and they're playing them Wednesday. So there's a game on Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Wait, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Mortal Kombat is rated R. I doubt it will have the pull unless it has IMAX. It might be. Funny enough, you just reminded me. I was supposed to check. I was supposed to go on AMC, the website, and get my ticket. I completely forgot for Friday. Um, but one thing I didn't have was a Dreamcast. I never had the Dreamcast. I had the Game Boy and all that other stuff, but no, I never had the Dreamcast. That was the one thing I didn't have. But you said wasn't it pushed back because of Street Fighter? I know. No, no. I don't even think they were worried about Street Fighter. I know why they chose that specific time to announce the cancellation of the North American leg of the tour. Live Nation knows everybody will focus on the Met Gala to discuss the PCD Forever tour. Has it officially been announced that they canceled? Because I haven't heard anything. The villain of Prada 2 is a TikTok type app, influencers, and a Jeff Bezos. Well, that should be interesting, especially since Jeff Bezos, well, sorry, Dr. Evil and the Joker, because that's what his wife looked like. They're gonna be there tonight. So, um, and the fact that I guess they paid a shit ton of money, and I guess Anna Wintour was okay. Maybe she's just over it. The Mummy for Blumhouse is a huge hit overseas. Yeah, I heard that financially it's been doing well. I mean, here's the thing: when Blumhouse produces stuff, they produce stuff on the cheap. And yeah, The Mummy, it was okay. Like me watching the film, there was things in there where I was like, okay, so what exactly? I mean, besides the sarcophagus and y'all wrapped up that child in the mummification stuff, there was no actual relation. And the fact that it took place in Egypt, and you were dealing with Egyptians and curses and all other stuff. There was no distinct connection of a whole mummy type situation. It felt more it was called The Mummy, but it was giving Evil Dead. And it's probably because the director of the film also directed Evil Dead Rise. I'm actually looking forward to Evil Dead Burn. Laverne need a check. No shade. That's probably why she did it. I'm surprised they actually had a trans woman in a Christian movie. That's what I'm gagging over. You said, can we talk about the Madonna ad that pissed little monsters off? Why they pissed? You'll be all right. Hmm. Oh, well, then I guess I'll just continue to stick to using my phone as my point of reference when it comes to the topics because I don't understand why I still freeze it. Lady Gaga is not a club act. Stop trying to make Vogue happen. It's fetch. It's not going to happen once a reductive. Here you go. The thing is with female superhero movies, they be weak and whack. I'm trying to think if that has there actually been a really good female action. I mean, if you're gonna do a female action movie, just make her based off the character what she is. Don't do the whole female superhero thing, and then they always have to be overly sexual or the play. I mean, they are girls, yes, but it's just like let them or they need to be saved and all other stuff. I'm not saying they got to be a damsel in distress, but just find that balance. But also, I don't like this idea that there are some male artists out there where I've heard stories come from women who have said that I forget who it was. It might have been Olivia Wilde that made this comment and said that when she was doing a movie, there was a male actor who threw a damn fit because he was like, when they got to a specific scene in the script, I guess he didn't read it, but you would think that as an actor, you would read your script if you're going to be partaking in a damn film. Said that, oh, I can't be rescued by a woman. So there's these things in his head that it makes them look weak, it's insecurity actually, and a sign of weakness that you feel that I can't be rescued by a woman. I'm like, what? That's dumb. So they had to go and come with a whole compromise. Black Love's in the building says seems there is more female driven television shows than films. Hacks, Euphoria, White Lotus, Yellow Jackets. Yeah, there always seems to be more on the TV front. Well, happy birthday. I don't know if I'll be doing a Friday show. I could be working that day. That's why the summer I turned pretty went crazy viral with women under 30. Yeah, but and we had two of the cast. We had some of the cast members at the Garden, and the women were going crazy. I think even one of the two of the male actors kissed each other on the which some people was they said went crazy viral with women were under 30. I'm not a fan of her, but Colleen Hoover film adaptations. But yes, they do. I'm not a fan of hers either. But yeah, they bring the people out there, and it's not just that one she did with Fake Lively, who I just heard a story came out from Popcorn Planet. I was like, I need to watch that video. I did save it. But he was talking about that, yeah. There's a recent story that came out that Ryan Reynolds played a crucial role in trying to control the movie. He was the one that was really behind the scenes trying to control everything and probably all up in Blake's ear, putting pressure on her. And that's why I said that was the smartest thing Scarlett Johansson did was leave his little insecure ass. That was the smartest thing she did. Just saw Scream 7. If they were going to play into the fan service, they should have went the whole way because what they chose. Agreed. That was definitely the thing. It was like that we had a problem was you could have really pushed the whole fandom thing, which they kind of tried to do with Scream 5. But I don't feel like they really convinced us with it. It was just like, okay, this is a lame. Like that third act was so weak, but all their third acts were weak. That's why I just hope that Radio Silence and his people are done with trying to take on the whole Scream franchise because y'all just done fucked up the thing with y'all weak ass third acts. The only people that usually, and the only reason why Scream 5 works beyond the third act, even though I have issues with it, is because of Sydney and Gail. They sell it for me. Everybody else in that movie, not so much. Especially Melissa Barrera. But I know Melissa happy she got a gig. She over there on Broadway in Titanic. And they just extended their run. So it's doing well. Who knows? Maybe with the Tonys coming up, we'll get to see them performing. We'll also get to see we won't see Megan Thee Stallion because her bitch ass done quit over some dick. Shade. Don't you know another one, and I didn't even use this. I didn't even bring up this story. I should have probably brought up. You know that chef that's suing Cardi B baby father, Stefan. He was fucking her before he hired her. So you was out here creeping, child. Cardi, you got to do better by the men you pick. Then I was hearing stories about Nicki Minaj. The reason why she allegedly sent my relative packing is because he was beating her ass allegedly. That makes sense why she was crashing out and acting the way she was acting. Cleveland's in the building. He said that's why Blumhouse had to go to Lionsgate because Universal is doing a fourth film with Brendan Fraser. And yeah, from the promotion of that movie, they had to keep running around saying it's not a sequel to Brendan Fraser's not the movie. Brendan Fraser's not the movie. I'm like, y'all act like Brendan Fraser's the only one that could do a fucking mummy movie. I mean, I could understand if you just said Boris Karloff. Oh, was no Bela Lugosi was Dracula. It was Boris Karloff. I'm like, as the mummy. I was like, okay, like we know it's not him. People aren't dumb. I mean, if Brendan Fraser wasn't in the damn trailer, then obviously he's not going to be in the movie. Oh, so was it? Hold on. Let me see if it's out here in the street. Madame Web, Catwoman. Oh Lord, don't even remind me. First of all, I never watched Madam Web. It looked terrible. Catwoman, I definitely have a soft spot for that movie, but yeah, it was bad. And that Marvel, not that Marvel shit. They be sabotaging the women movies. No shade. Birds of Prey. Oh, don't even get me started on Birds of Prey. Well, Birds of Prey did bad, so that's why there was never a Black Canary movie. Oh yeah, Captain Marvel, that wasn't a good movie. I did like the Marvels though. The Marvels wasn't that bad. Yeah, it was a mess script wise, it was all over the place. You said the Rebel Heart chat room. I saw a video of a guy yelling at Brie and said she wasn't very nice to her fans. She probably not. I mean, have you seen her or anything since Ms. Marvel? Although I'm hearing she might be in that new movie. What's that movie? Well, she might be in the Avengers, the new Avengers movie. Hold on, we gotta break the damn news because yes, it's official. They done canceled the tour, bitch. Oh, bitch, I should be laughing. Oh, Lord.
Hold on now. Um, God damn it. Hold the phone. I got two breaking news stories. One, we got Pussycat Dolls done bailed out the tour. And two, Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively just settled. What I just talking about them and now the damn settlement came. Hold on. God damn it. Why'd I have to go live now? Because I told her all the tea come out well, hold on, because now I gotta look for it. Please hold, because now I gotta go. Hold on. What am I doing? What am I doing? First things first, I Papa beats all the honeys, bunnies, Playboy bunnies, old want monies. Ma. Pussy don't fail me now. You said, child, y'all post so much shit in this damn chat room. How can I find anything? I'm gonna just go to Variety and pull up the story. Wait, why is my job texting me? All right. Boom, 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 boom. Thank God this shit is live, because I'm like, bitch. Wait, how you send me the screen, the thing of them, but I don't see it? Or I'm gonna just Google it. Okay, now I got it. Hold on. Now I gotta come up with a picture. Now I gotta do this in real time. Henny. No, I don't need all. Why is what's another thing I can't stand? What I'm doing something and then I'll all these damn ads will pop up. Okay, come on. The question: have y'all noticed any crazy shit's been going on with Facebook today? Like I had an issue earlier that like when I was doing my website stuff, I couldn't so now I gotta create two damn banners, which is fucking annoying. But it is what it is. Almost done. All right, y'all. So now we back. After going through that mess. There's a lot going on. Hold on. I don't know if I want to use this one. Because Variety, they be on the side of Ryan Reynolds and them. Seems like, you know what? Since it's breaking news, we're just gonna have to put it ahead of the whole Michael Spike Lee situation. So yeah, let's get into our breaking news tea because we got to do that. Now that I got everything situated, I'll come back to y'all comments and stuff in a second. But we got some breaking news, honey. And the breaking news is Pussycat Dolls out of a gig because apparently none of y'all gave a damn about this upcoming tour. So let's get into her. So, um, yesterday I had gotten a little tip. Robert, friend to the show, had sent it to me, but apparently it was some chatter going around that um this whole tour with them is about to get canceled because they had poor ticket sales. And a lot of it may have to do with the fact that y'all were charging Beyonce type prices or Cardi B type prices for a tour nobody asked for. So let's get into her. So, after a recent rash of tour cancellations in the wake of weak ticket sales, concert industry observers were predicting the next shoe would drop for the Pussycat Dolls' poor selling reunion tour, and that high heel hit the floor Monday afternoon. The group announced that its U.S. outing was being called off after taking an honest look at the North American run, while shows in other parts of the world will proceed as planned. Now, although the Dolls did not specifically cite ticket sales as the reason for come on now. It was ticket prices. Don't nobody give a fuck about these broads over here in America, and it's no shade. Number one, that's number one. Number two, the reality is, Nicole, yes, you have solidified yourself as the face of this group, but having two bona fide backup dancers as your as part of the trio when neither one is Kelly or Michelle, it's not gonna happen. So, um, the people didn't want to hear. Europeans, they'll go to an envelope opening, and it's no shade. Y'all will sit up and y'all will support everybody and anybody. New Yorkers looking at this is like out of sight, out of mind. We ain't seen or heard from y'all from a month of Sundays. I'm thinking the politics of what went on in this girl group probably hits home rather than transcending overseas. So that's probably why they don't care as much. And they just live for Nicole, period, because she was doing the West End. Yeah, she did Broadway here briefly, but she's been doing more stuff overseas and she's popular in the UK and in European places versus in America. So that's two shows in the United States. Megan Trainor, who is clearly going through an identity crisis. She don't know who the fuck she want to be. She lost all that damn weight, and well, she never really had an identity to speak of. So she lost all that damn weight, and the identity, what was left of it, went with her. And she still can't figure out like who is your demographic. The same thing like when it comes to Pussycat Dolls. And I'm gonna finish on with this article is the fact that I have a coworker of mine who's transgender, and she went and said when we were working the floor together, we were working another show, and the advertisement on the a little thing on in the there's like a small little jumbotron that we had where we advertise upcoming concerts at Madison Square Garden. And when it said Pussycat Dolls, the time of July, whatever the case, the date was, she said that, I don't even care about this tour and I'm the demographic you're going for. And she mentioned that the first Pussycat Dolls show she ever saw was number one. I'll say this: Pussycat Dolls have never been a central act. They've never been someone who has set up a whole show and done the thing on their own. They've always been the supporting act or the opening act. She said she went to the Back to Basics tour. That was her very first tour that she went to, where it was her, where it was Pussycat Dolls and Danity Kane. They opened for Christina Aguilera. And that was the time she saw that and had a time. She said you could also do it, you could do 5 out of the 6 girls. Like if Melody didn't want to come back, you could get all the other girls. Like if Carmit was there, I think it would probably went over. Or if Carmit didn't want to come back and Melody came back, I think the fandom would have been all for it. But Nicole by herself, where she's constantly pushed this thing of, well, we don't want any drama, and I'm the lead singer and I'm the Pussycat. It's like, ma'am, there were 6 members of you. But that's also Robin Anson's fault. She should have established this group as okay, so I'm the lead singer, and the rest of these girls are my bona fide backup dancers. We were trying to do like what K-pop does, because quiet as it's kept. A lot of them be putting that microphone in their mouth, and no sounds be coming out of that shit either. But if you wanted to come in and have a couple of even the backup dancers that y'all had up in there doing ha, ha, hoo, hoo, like doing that, because that's what they be doing up in the mic, not really hitting the note, just breathing.
You could have just did that, but you ain't want to do that. Y'all want to sit up in here and leave people confused as to what the Pussycat Dolls' initial idea was. Y'all, back in the day before Robin had this epiphany in her bird brain fucking head, was that it was a burlesque act. You would have Gwen Stefani, you would have Fergie, you would have, some of the girlies or whatever, Christina, Britney, even I believe Paris Hilton. You would get them up there, and they would cover people's songs, and you'd have the girls behind them dancing. That's what you should have solidified the group as. But you wanted to come in and try to capitalize on the group thing. You had all these other girls up in there singing, but y'all try to really prioritize Nicole, and it started that drama within the women, which y'all always tend to do when it comes to these female girl groups, which is why girl groups can't stay together past 2 or 3 fucking albums, because the people behind the scenes be starting their bullshit, and then the egos get all caught up in the situation. So yeah, they didn't have to specify why they canceled the show. We know why they canceled the show. We knew the show wasn't gonna happen. I was holding out. And then on top of that, you wanna know what also fucked them? And it's no shade to my generation. But you had Maya and Little Kim as your opening acts. It's like the demo you're going for, yeah, the gays, whoever disposable income, yeah, they'll go, but they'll support the show and they'll go and see it and all that mess. But the reality is these women are over 40. Lil Kim is in her 50s. Maya's in her 40s. Them three, all y'all alone is not going to get the 40 and up crowd in the and like to go see the show. Like the ones with the disposable incomes of these young generations that like the Tate McRae's and the Benson Boones and all this stuff, why aren't you reaching out to them? You should have reached younger for your opening act. I would have said like a Cat's Eye, but child, they ain't going through their mess now with Manon. So I wouldn't even choose them. But you could have found some type of girlies to come up in there and be a much better situation with the opening act. I don't know if Little Kim and Maya are included on the European leg. I guess the only way I'll be able to see this show now, because unfortunately I'm not going to work it because it's been canceled, is the fact that I'm going to have to go and watch footage on social media from Europe when y'all get to be lucky enough to watch the show. So the social media message says this. They said, Dolls, we want to share an important update with you. The group social media, this is what it said. Now, when we announced the PCD Forever Tour, we hope to bring the show to fans across the world. After taking an honest look at the North American run, we made the difficult and heartbreaking decision to cancel all but one of the North American. Wait a minute now. Now, which place they doing it? Oh, they said the Lone Girl. Of course, the one they didn't cancel was We Hope Pride appearance in LA. So of course the faggots are gonna show up to Out Loud, the festival. So yeah, they're doing that. But outside of that, that's the only time in America you're gonna see them perform. But Outland, I mean, what is it, Out Loud? Child, they have Erica Jane be up in there performing. So them being a part of a festival where a bunch of gays is gonna be up in there, it's not gonna hurt them too much. It's not a strike of the ego too bad. But yeah, it's only been. I mean, and here's another thing. So now, if they want to talk about how the Bidiqua Plus community has shown them so much love and have always been a conditional support, because this is what a lot of y'all do when the other demographics don't see it for y'all. Y'all run over here to the homosexuals and try to get that loyalty check, and that's what it seemed like to me that she's trying to do. So, or they're trying to do, which is like what I was saying about Megan Trainor. But yeah, outside the gays, to me it just seems like y'all don't care about the Pussycat Dolls. And here's another thing. See, Pussycat Dolls, y'all were a little too over ambitious with this tour. Because I was sitting there like, how y'all doing arenas? Y'all gotta have a big stage. It's gonna be the three of y'all up there, and then y'all gonna have like a lot of dancers. It's gonna be a lot of pyro. Like are you trying to put on a Cardi B, Madonna-esque type show, like with props and big things going on stage and aerialists and dance like all and like other dancers that's with you? Like what kind of show y'all's gonna put up? But I guess the only way we gonna find out is when we watch the UK leg or whatever leg they doing overseas. So as I was saying before, I think y'all were a little overly ambitious with this tour. Um, maybe what also hurt you was that what you should have did was like what Melanie C is doing. She's doing smaller venues. She's doing what she doing? Webster Hall. When Slater did her tours or whatever, now that she's starting to blow up, she could probably do. I would, if I was her, I would still stick to smaller venues. Girl, you should have just did the Infosys Theater, which is the smaller theater we have in the Garden. That seats 3 to 5,000 people. That'd have been good enough. You would have did well. Y'all should have did smaller venues and called it a day. But ego. A lot of y'all be out here overly ambitious thinking y'all going to sell out 15, 16,000 seats. And y'all are just not that girls. And I don't want to be harsh in saying this, but this is just the reality of the thing. Child, I would go see Danity Kane, two of the members. And that's Andrea and D Woods before I pay to see this bullshit. So, but then again, if they were going to be at the Garden, they're excuse me, they were going to be working. But they did finish. But that's why I say I know I just have to keep giving my thoughts. But it's like before I forget, the universe is telling me what to say. So yeah, they said that the UK and European dates are still moving forward. And the response has been incredible with several shows already sold out. We are putting everything into making this show a true celebration of the music and the memories for the fans who have been with us from the beginning and those discovering us for the first time. We're working hard to create the kind of show we've always dreamed of bringing to you. We cannot wait to bring this reunion to Europe and make these nights forgettable or unforgettable. Maybe what they should have did also, test the waters. This is like some Jennifer Lopez type shit where she did the European stuff but had to cancel the US because y'all didn't care for her either. So maybe what you should have did was test the waters, see how Europe is doing. You could have did your big ones over there. Then when you come to like me, I'd be humble. Like if I'm not as big an artist in America, I'm humble enough to do smaller venues in the US. I'm like, I'll do a couple of smaller shows. Yeah, I'll scale them. I mean, Kylie Minogue did it when she would do arena shows and stadium shows and stuff overseas, and she would come to New York. I mean, come to New York, and she would come to parts of America, and she would scale down her show. Yeah, she would give you some of those same little props and things that she could, but it was a scaled down version. And what won people over with Kylie, and especially seeing her live in America, was the fact that she spent time giving you her personality. She can get up there, she'll sing, she'll dance, she'll move around, she's engaging with the audience, and her being personable helped her do all that. She don't do that for cute, all that pretentious bullshit that some of your fave pop stars be up there doing, and I be rolling my eyes with the pretentiousness that they be up in there doing. But she basically gets up there, she did her thing, and now look at her. She was able to, after years and years and years of putting in that work and little by little showing love to her US fan base, she was finally able to sell out an arena tour in the United States with the Tension tour. So y'all got to build up to that. You can't just disappear for 20 years and then come back and expect, the road to just be open for you, the red carpet to be rolled out and people dropping roses at your feet. That's not how the world works, ladies. So y'all got that reality check. And this is a long ass article. We don't need to really go into the rest of the whole situation. Y'all pretty much got the gist. But at the end of the day, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Oh wait, hold on, because I got to go back to Variety because I got to pull up the other story. I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are y'all shocked over the fact that the PCD people had to go cancel their North American tour because clearly y'all don't give a shit about seeing their ass live. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Let's see what the people are saying in the comments. And I was like, I can't get rid of that topic because I got to add it to the docket later. There's always so much work that I got to do when it comes to this. Boom, 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 boom. It was oh, I guess, oh, they let me know where I left off. I love this thing because they light up the topics that I haven't clicked on, and this is how I know. Okay, this is where you left off. I'm glad y'all started doing that. That's new. Oh yeah, you said that everybody is blaming Nicole and Robin for what happened. I mean, I guess they would be to blame. Brie Larson is in. Oh, okay. Chris, let me clock in right quick. Do you think Margot played a good Harley Quinn? I think she was miscast from the jump. You mean kind of like how she was miscast in Wuthering Heights? Talking like she is forever in New York where you stay. Well, that no. She's from Margot Robbie's Australian, trying to do a New York accent. You know who would have made a great Harley Quinn back in the day? The crazy main character from the Feruza Balk. Yeah, said the $30 sale didn't help. They didn't care. He said, yeah, they probably did cast because they looked alike. I can't believe they canceled the tour. First trainer, now them. Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, Megan Trainer, she didn't figure out who the hell she is. I think they cast Margot as Harley because she looked like her. Yeah. Sam's in the building. I don't remember these girls' names, but I know one of them was the one who did those high kicks. Yeah, that was Kimberly Wyatt. She's still part of the group. She was always the one that did the high kick. Even PCD fans said they should have done the Hillary Duff route because it paid off. Her tour is sold out. Wait, what did Hillary Duff do? Because she's doing 2 nights at the Garden. Melanie wants nothing to do with them. Red hair said she wasn't asked. The other girl says she's sick and didn't get an invite. How you going to do a reunion without the full girls and want full money? Full money, child. They should have been no more than 350, no shade, and make it a couple of dates, and then go on another tour later down the. Yeah, they like y'all want to just do it all at once. Nicole owning 75% of the brand also hurt them because it means the girls didn't get much coin off the tickets. They said book Ava Max and BB Rexa and Icona Pop. That would have been a good thing. I would have said, child, maybe Kid Cudi need to bring one of them girls in now that he done got rid of that crazy bitch M.I.A. from his tour. But we gonna get into that coming up. The young girls with the touring drawl could be opening for who's that? You said the with the touring drawl. Yeah, that would have definitely worked. If they could get, first of all, I've been liking a lot of the new songs BB Rex have been putting out. I'm like, girl, you should have been gotten to the whole dance music thing. Ava Max has been giving me my life. Slater, of course, is giving me my life. And I don't know if Slater is sort of opening act material anymore. I think she's kind of progressed to being, main act material. But yeah, Icona Pop, they're currently without a home because Megan Trainor canceled her tour, so they need somewhere to promote their music. As quiet as Nicole never covered. Oh, she never recovered from the Red Hat yeah, well, she ain't that bright. Live Nation needs to embrace theater tours. Yeah, I mean, because we have a theater, we barely use it. I mean, we have a show in there on Wednesday, but yeah, it's not a lot of shows that we do in the smaller venues often enough. There's a reason why the settlement happened. Steve revealed, and in Blake deposition, she was going to use Justin religion as to weaponize him, and everybody said that's a bad idea. They only had one damn song, chair. They didn't even have a whole. They didn't even have a whole album. I don't even know, not one lame song, but I don't even know if they coming out with a new album. Yeah, I mean the last time I saw Little Kim was when Cardi brought her out on her tour. That was the last time I saw Little Kim. But it'd have been nice to see Little Kim get up there and do the hits. I'm not the least bit surprised. I can't believe they thought such a shrinkage of members would work. It looks because child, they thought they was Beyonce. They thought that John could pull what Beyonce and them did with Destiny Child. But for some reason, I mean, you had Kelly and Beyonce, so we were kind of familiar with them because they was quiet as it's kept. They was lifting, they were doing most of the heavy lifting with the singing any damn way. Them other girls were just interchangeable. Then they brought in Farrah Abraham, right? And then they brought in Michelle. Then Farrah left, and then they kept Michelle because Michelle wasn't stupid. She's like, I'm gonna stick this out. Yeah, I heard about Post Malone. He's saying this because he ain't finished his new album, but I'm like, would you have already had it in your head on the amount of time that you need to finish a record before you even announce going on tour? Maybe this whole thing about Jelly Roll and Post Malone going on tour together, which they've done already, and I worked their shows. I worked the last show they went out on tour together, and people were kind of getting annoyed because they talk more than they fucking perform. It's like, can y'all shut the fuck up? Especially Jelly Roll. He lost all that damn weight, but he ain't lose his mouth because he just spend more time up there acting like he a damn pastor than doing his songs. And I remember so many people I was working with was getting so annoyed. Because I remember when Jelly Roll performed at the Garden and he performed at City Field doing a stadium show. Hillary Duff tested the reaction out with smaller venues first and then announced a bigger venue. So yeah, that's what it is. You have to test the waters to see if there's a hunger to see you live. If there's a demand for people to want to see you, then we expand beyond that. But people just want to throw you out into the wolves. What the hell? Now Kesha about to cancel. What's going on with her? Nobody cares about Kesha either. Everybody is even saying Three Spice Girls tour is gonna sell. We understand Jerry had another fallout. Well, look, and then Mel C just brought out Mel B when she was promoting her new album, Sweat, which I absolutely love. I was spending the whole weekend listening to that record. Um, it was worth the wait. So yeah. If Baby comes back, Scary comes back, and Spooky comes back, that would work because they all have different textures to their harmonies. Where Baby has like a high little girly voice. Mel C has, well, she's got a kind of like a high voice too, but she could sing. And Mel B, she got that deep bass to her voice. So alto, I guess you can call it. Um, so they could kind of just riff off each other. So yeah, three of them can work. If Vicky B don't want to come back, oh okay. Well, I mean, she wasn't a great singer anyway. And don't even get me started on the other one, the one who husband was out there cheating on her, Jerry. But anyway, so we still have more breaking news because while I was in the middle of the show, this tea dropped. So apparently Blake Lively, aka Ku Klux Khaleesi, and Justin Baldoni have settled their lawsuit. Thank you, Jesus. We could all move on. Because funny enough, before I was even talking about this, I saw a video. Shout out to Andy Signor over there at Popcorn Planet, who was talking about that. Yeah, a lot of what was happening was that Ryan Reynolds was meddling a lot in the making of this movie, which I'm sure was growing frustrating on the part of Justin Baldoni. And then maybe that was also what Blake was stressing out over some stuff too, because her husband's tripping in her ear. And I've heard many of stories about how Ryan Reynolds allegedly likes to interfere in a lot of the projects that his wife is working on because he is deeply insecure when it comes to the male co-stars that his wife is working with. Hence why Scarlett Johansson ass was smart enough to leave his behind, after I think they were I think they were married for like a short period of time. I don't even think they were married for a long time. I think they were married for like a year. I can't remember off the top of my head, nor do I care, but I know like what from that whole situation, she was just like, okay, I'm getting tired of your shit, in the words of Miss Badu. So anyway, let's get into the story. So apparently they said, shout out to Variety, after a year and a half of bitter feuding in court and in the press, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have resolved their legal differences 2 weeks ahead of the federal trial. Well, yeah, now she got smart because before when they went and did that little situation a couple of months ago, she ain't want to settle. And then it was, okay, I guess we're going to trial because yeah, you don't want them all them bodies that's been buried to float to the top of the ocean. So now you want to settle.
Now, Lively had accused Baldoni, her director and co-star, of sexual harassment on set of their 2024 film, It Ends With Us. She also alleged that when she raised complaints about it, he and his army of publicists engaged in a digital smear campaign to retaliate. Now, in a in a carefully crafted joint settlement. Why do I want to call it a strongly worded letter so damn bad? But anyway, they said in a carefully crafted joint settlement released on Monday, the parties expressed their feelings about moving on. And my feelings exactly. I'm tired. I'm tired of this story. Let's move on from it, yeah. But anyway, so they said the end product, the movie It Ends With Us, is a source of pride to all of us who work to bring it to life, raising awareness and making a meaningful impact on the lives of DV survivors and all survivors is a goal that we stand behind. We acknowledge the process presented, challenges, and recognize concerns raised by Miss Lively deserve to be heard. We remain firmly committed to workplaces free of improprieties and unproductive environments. It is our sincere hope that this brings closure and it brings closure. I don't even know what the fuck y'all talking about. Like y'all settled, but you sit there mentioning DV, you're mentioning concerns raised by her, and she was heard. I'm glad she was heard. If there was any kind of proprieties or whatever the issues were that was going on set, it's great that she's heard. But what did y'all settle on? What was the settlement? Unless y'all have to keep that sealed and we can't mention it. Now, they say it is our sincere hope that this brings closure and allows all involved to move forward constructively and in peace. Well, I think that's what Justin wanted to do, but she wanted to drag it out because she wanted to ruin his life and she wanted to ruin his career because the fact of the matter that Blake has a lot of money, courtesy of her husband, and them being together and that combined power and stuff and his influence of, Deadpool making him $1 billion um guy in Hollywood, because what else outside of Deadpool has grossed $1 billion for Hollywood? Off of Ryan Reynolds' name alone. I'll wait. But apparently, because he's good on the side of Disney, they're going to always protect him in a lot of those situations. So, because of their cachet, because of their clout, because of their financial influence and influence on people in the industry, they were trying to get this guy blacklisted. They were trying to ruin his life. They were trying to take over and hijack his movie. And so, he was like, I'm not going down without a fight. This is going to be a David and Goliath type situation. I'm not going to let y'all come up in here and ruin my life and my career and my reputation over some BS. So they said the settlement, blah, 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 comes out about a month after the judge, Lewis Lyman, threw out 10 of Lively's 13 civil claims, including all claims for harassment. The ruling left 3 claims: retaliation, aiding and abetting retaliation, and breach of contract to be decided by a jury. Now, at the time, they said her attorney said she looked forward to telling her story on a witness stand, but the attorney, Sigrid McCauley, who seemed to telegraph that the settlement was a real possibility, suggested that Lively had already achieved her goals by exposing the smear machine at the heart of the case. I just don't think she had a rat chance in hell of winning this case. I think that's why they settling, because you sitting there saying that if all this was that you get to expose something, you were exposing it a while ago, like when this shit been going on for like a year and a half. Y'all was doing all the exposing of what allegedly that Justin was doing and all that other mess. So why is it that you're saying now she's achieved her goal to expose the smear machine at the heart of the case? I thought this was brought out a while ago. And if you really want to talk about, wasn't there a whole New York Times article taken out by her that she tried to do a whole smear campaign on Justin Baldoni? So who knows? Maybe it was a tit for tat type situation on both y'all parts. So they did say something another for Blake Lively. The greatest measurement of justice is that people in the playbook behind those coordinated digital attacks have been exposed and already being held accountable by other women they've targeted. So I guess he's saying that he targeted other people. And they said she also took to Instagram to claim a measure of victory at the time. The last thing, excuse me, the last thing I wanted in my life was a lawsuit, but I brought this case because of the pervasive retaliation I faced and continue to for privately and professionally asking for a safe working environment for myself and others. I hope the court's decision shows others that, as unfathomably painful as it is, you can speak up. Baldoni responded with a lengthy defamation lawsuit in federal court, alleging that Lively had, in fact, destroyed his reputation with false allegations of harassment in a cynical bid to hijack his film. He also sued the New York Times. Lively had countersued, accused Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, and others of harassment, retaliation, and other claims. Now, Baldoni's defamation suit was thrown out in the early stages as the judge ruled that Lively and the Times were both protected by privileges covering litigation and reporting on litigation. Now, after more than a year of extensive discovery and bitter legal fighting, most of Lively's claims were also thrown out, mostly on technical grounds instead of the merits. Lively was found to be an independent contractor, not an employee, meaning she could not sue for harassment under federal law. And since the filming took place in New Jersey, she can now file a suit under California's harassment statute. So yeah, it's like if the film wasn't filmed in California, um you can't bring up a legality situation if it didn't happen there. So that's the latest. We don't know necessarily what they settled on. Okay, why is this shit not closing? So yeah, we don't know necessarily what they didn't settle on, whatever the case is. But I guess we'll find out sooner or later. What I'm gonna do is if it boils down, when it comes down to the whole situation, I'll just have to do some further digging because this is breaking news. So I need to kind of do further digging and see like if there are any of my usual go-tos that'll find out what exactly they settled on in that whole situation. And I'll bring you that news when it becomes available. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the latest on Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively? That they finally decided to settle this case. We can finally put it behind us. I hope they settle with prejudice. So that means they ain't got to revisit this down the line because I'm tired of them. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of talking about this tired ass Colleen Hoover, this movie based on a tired ass Colleen Hoover book, is basically what I wanted to say. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right, so hold on because I gotta see. Um, Let me close that out. Let's see what the people saying. No money was exchanged. Everybody said it makes Blake look good, but it's up to interpretation. People are saying Taylor Swift and her friends were telling you're making us look bad. It wasn't Ryan or Blake that decided it. Justin, you stupid. You said Justin, fine. That's all I got. All right, now on that note, let's get to the stuff that I was supposed to be talking about before we had them breaking news stories. And let's get into this Spike Lee tea. So apparently Spike Lee has already seen the Michael movie and he is weighing in on the film. And when people was asking him what his overall thought, I'm sure he's there tonight for the Knicks game because this is the playoffs. Spike Lee definitely is a hardcore dot in the weeds Knicks fan. So I'm sure that he'll be on the floor as usual, doing his thing down there because he's always there. Patrick Ewing's always there. Fat Joe's always there. They practically live there. So that's family at this point. So um Michael, as already stated earlier in the show, is enjoying a busy and successful second weekend at the box office. So it's doing really well. It's made all its budget back, all of the stuff. So people don't even have to worry. This word on the curb is that they're gonna do a sequel. It'll be interesting to see how they handle some of the stuff up in there. But until then, good luck. But um the Malcolm X director did praise the film and said that he's seen it not once but twice. So he said loved it when he was asked for his reaction to the movie in a recent interview with CNN. Now the Do the Right Thing filmmaker who directed the music video for Jackson's 1996 song "They Don't Care About Us," remember that controversial song? "Do me, everybody do me, kick me, crump me, don't you like a white me." Remember that song? That's what he was going in on them people in the business. Now, I wonder if they'll cover that the second part. Speaking of which, when um when we get to the end, I'm gonna come up with a recommendation who I was like should direct the next movie. So Um, he said that the biggest complaint about the biopic, well, they said the biggest complaint about the biopic, and which is what we've been talking about on the show, is that it doesn't hold up in his eyes. Now, reacting to critics who have panned Michael for omitting the multiple allegations of child SA made against Jackson, he responded, "But the movie ends in '88, and the stuff you're talking about accusations happen later. So you're critiquing the film on something that you want in, but it doesn't work in the timeline of the film." But I don't know if Spike is aware. I mean, that would be cute or whatever if that was the initial way that they were planning on putting this movie together. The problem with that argument is we already know that they shot footage of the movie was supposed to open with police sirens in the background and a close up of Michael's face as the police are going into his mansion and checking for because the allegations from Jordan Chandler's father had come out saying that Michael had touched his son in an inappropriate way, which Michael ended up settling. And part of the settlement was because they filmed the trial and they filmed all that stuff. That was supposed to be the third act. The problem with all of that was the estate didn't read the fine print where they weren't supposed to bring up, part of the deal was they couldn't bring up any of the child SA stuff, particularly with Jordan Chandler. I don't know if that settlement was signed for all the other people who accused Michael down the road, because I guess some people saw, oh, he settled, cha-ching, dollar sign. Now everybody want to swoop in and get a piece. And Michael's is, I want to make it go away. So I'm just going to keep settling, which I think is just dumb because the minute you open up Pandora's box, it's a wrap. So they had to scrap all of that, and then they had to come out, and you can kind of tell when you're watching the movie how disjointed it is at parts, or what the reshoots versus the other stuff. And they tried to salvage what they could with this movie. So I get it, Spike. You could run with that argument, but they already filmed stuff where they were going to address it. They had to cut it because of the deal within the suit. Now, Michael does not address the abuse allegations lobbed against Mike Jackson because it concludes 5 years before his first accuser came forward in 1993. Coleman Domingo, who plays Jackson's father, Joe Jackson, in the movie, defended it against similar criticisms last month, saying there's a possibility of there being a part two that may deal with other things that may happen afterwards. He said in a recent interview, "This is about the making of Michael, how he was raised, and how he was trying to find his voice as an artist." Now, if they're going to make a sequel, I do think that what they should do is focus on, okay, so now he's in the pocket. Now he's found his voice and how he had to deal with loneliness and being the biggest pop star in the world, his drug addiction, which kicked off from the whole burning accident from the Pepsi commercial. Really go there and show that dark side and how he was trying to come through that. And maybe deal with, and then of course you may have to address those allegations, but the question remains is, in this day and age with biopics, how do you address that? Because growing up for me, and maybe this is where I'm coming from with this, when we got biopics back in the day, like for example, What's Love Got to Do with It? That's a prime example. You got the songs from Tina. You got to see Tina do her thing, but and he was, and look, I was alive when she came out with that movie. And she told about her story of how he abused her and R-worded her at one point in the studio and all the things that we got there. We got the warts and all of Tina. And she came out triumphant in the end. But I guess what this is, so now we've gotten to a place that when we would get real nuance and showing that all the different sides of a celebrity in a biopic, we got the warts and all. Now it's like I want a watered down Disney 5 version of it because y'all want to wax nostalgic. And this is my generation that's getting like this. I'm like, y'all forgot the type of biopics we got back in the day? Now all of a sudden y'all want everybody handled with kid gloves and y'all want things to be peachy keen and Disney 5 and perfect. That's one of the reasons why I like Bohemian Rhapsody, because they did the same thing. We're gonna bring that up when we get to this Janet story. But um they did say that Variety also reported that the biopic does. Why does Variety need to address something? You can go to fucking movie and see that. Um, the biopic doesn't address the allegations against Michael because the singer reached a settlement with accuser Jordan Chandler that forbade any depiction or mention of the accuser in any film project. So the family was smart. They knew it was like, okay, if y'all decide to make a movie down the road, oh, you can't talk about us because one thing you will not be doing is say anything. But my thing is, if this man did what he did to you, why you don't want your side of the story being told? Why is it that all we get to hear about you was that y'all made money, you got a settlement from Michael? I really hope that these parents are not out here pimping out their children to be in close proximity to these rich folks, only to take advantage of them down the road just so they can get some type of financial compensation. That's always been the ugly side of the entertainment industry, how these parents will be out here literally whoring their children to these idols. We've seen them do it with R. Kelly and so many others, just so y'all could be in close proximity of these celebrities. Now, in a CNN interview, Lee reflected on Jackson's legacy, saying, I miss Mike and I miss Prince. I mean, these are my brothers. I mean, work with both of them, both beautiful, beautiful people. He also praised They Don't Care About Us for its foresight, saying the song really speaks about what has happened today in the world. Michael Prince, great artists like that. When you're a great artist, you see stuff before it's even happened. I feel it's a gift, a God given gift, and you're in tune with the universe. Well, yeah, it was the fact that a lot of people took advantage of it and used Michael. So this whole idea that they kind of present in the movie that Michael, whenever he wanted something, y'all would just okay, Mike, we'll just give it. Like, no, it didn't work like that because y'all took advantage of him. A lot of y'all ripped off Michael. Y'all did a whole lot of shit to Michael Jackson, which was um pretty shady how y'all was doing things to him back in the day, but we'll never probably get that side of the story. I guess at this point, if y'all really want the true tea of what Michael was dealing with in the music industry with throughout his career, his childhood, all these other things, you're just gonna have to find whatever docu-series, documentary, whatever that y'all can find, probably on YouTube, because YouTube got everything at this point, and then that's the only way you'll get the true tea regarding what's been going on with this whole situation. So shout out to you, Spike Lee. And maybe, if Antoine Fuqua don't want to come back because allegedly there was some behind the scenes drama where he was clashing with the people on putting the movie together and he quietly stepped away and they had to bring in the producer to come in and film the rest of the movie. And then they're trying to do semantics and everything with this tea that came out. But the reality is Antoine Fuqua mostly likely walked away from the film. There was a lot of drama going on behind the scenes. He didn't want to deal with this annoying ass Jacksons always meddling in what they wanted to present regarding the family. And I realized that y'all were pretty much just window dressing in the whole damn movie, but y'all was over here trying to make Michael come out like he's perfect, like he married goddamn Poppins, to the point that he was known as Van Twan when he had to go to the van just so that we could hide away from these annoying ass Jacksons and they weird ass haircuts. So I say all this to say, also, I think if Antoine Van Twan want to come back, maybe because Spike Lee's such a damn fan, maybe he can come in and direct the movie. But I don't know if he could just be a hired hand that'll just come in and do whatever the studio wants. I'm sure he's gonna have some input and be like, no, that's not what Michael Jackson. I knew these people personally, so um. Then again, he said he loved the movie. He went to see it twice. So who knows? Maybe he would play the game. So that way, he can get the checks and the accolades and all that other stuff. So I definitely want to hear from y'all, whatever your thoughts on this matter. Do you agree with Spike Lee on what he had to say about Michael, the critics, and all that other stuff? I just kind of wish I knew exactly what was the story that that the movie wanted to focus on in order for the critics to respond to it. But it just seems like we just keep getting conflicting reports. So if the critics was only wanting to focus on the sensationalism of it, to me, that's not what I wanted from this film. I would have liked the balance. I want to get like, let's celebrate the artist, but also let's see that other side of them too. Who are they behind the persona? Who is the man behind who is the man in the mirror? Who I'm looking at that want to make a change and all that cliche shit that he would say in them songs. Like that's what I wanted to see played out on the big screen. But we just got nostalgia bait.
So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. It finally ended with them. Okay. Michael wanted to go to court to clear his name, but his attorneys and insurance company was the ones telling him to settle. And you know what? They should have put that in the film. It was like, I want to go to court. I want to fight this. I want to clear my name. If they play that up, that changes the game. And then the attorneys and the insurance company said, no, we need you to settle because we don't want you having to sit in litigation, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And but oh, the attorneys gave him bad advice. And if it's these same people that's working with the estate, they're not gonna want that to come out there because it's gonna make them look bad. You're gonna be mad at me, but Mistress dropped a video with Mia Star, and there's so much tea being spilled 7 minutes in. Jennifer asked her to take her shirt off. Oh yeah, I remember Mia telling that story in regards of when she danced back and for for Lopez, and it kind of felt like in a way that she was trying to fat shame him in a lot of ways. I would never want her for a mother. And you see how skinny both her kids are. I feel like the one who's skinnier than all of them is the son. But she said, but then she started making little jokes. I was probably the first one at the craft services, blah 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 blah. I remember her saying that story. So I'd heard that. I think where I heard it from was not Roscoe's, because Roscoe's don't really be spilling tea over there. All it is Naisha Lopez bitching about something. But I heard it on Scorpios. I think when she was on there, that tea came out. Mia also taught Britney's sons how to dance, and not sure how true this is based on the editing, but she might also taught Britney how to dance with, all right, Shakira. Well, I don't know what she called herself doing with them knives, but if that was Mia Star choreography, girl, I wouldn't admit to that out loud. 'Cause that whatever she was doing with them knives was a mess. White House was locked down from a nearby power Lord. Dude, they coming for his crazy ass. And he said, I don't want to wear a bulletproof vest because it makes me look fat. I'm like, sir, do you not own a mirror? Like, we know you ain't seen your dick since Barron was born. You've been fat for way longer than you've been president. So let's not blame it on the bulletproof vest. These people out here, I swear, they want to prove themselves to be alphas so damn bad. And y'all just giving beta tease. But anyway, all right, y'all. So let's move on from Michael to Janet. So apparently there's a story that was going around. Shout out to the Jasmine brand, where if you watch the movie, you've noticed that there's quite a few people missing from the film. Janet particularly being one of them. Janet ain't in the movie. I said, where's Rebe? I was expecting her to come out at the end and sing Centipede. You know that's my song. And Randy ain't in the movie either. Quiet as it's kept, there's a bunch of male people in the background that's a part of the situation. And to be honest, I don't know who the fuck they are. I couldn't tell Jermaine from Randy, from Tito, from Marlon. The only one we could tell was Michael because he was the smallest one there. But all the other siblings, they're literally window dressing in this film. They're bona fide extras. So they have barely any lines. And I can't even tell who's who. And even during a scene when Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson is mentioning the siblings by name, which one is Jermaine? Which one is like I don't know. They just saying names out in the air. So I don't know who playing who. I'm sure I don't even know. I didn't even pay attention to the credits when it was scrolling up. I don't even know if they have any of the actors who's playing the brothers. Do they have their names next to the characters they playing, or they just mention call them number one, number two, number three. You know how they be doing up in there. Man holding ice cream cone. That's literally your title of who I play in the movie. But anyway, so there have been some reports coming around that the reason why Janet is not in the movie is because there's been tension amongst the family. So, according to the Jasmine brand, they said Janet Jackson's absence from the upcoming Michael Jackson biopic may not just be about creative direction, it could be tied to deeper family dynamics. A new report from Variety suggests her decision to step away from Michael and her complete omission from the film may be connected to long discussed tensions surrounding her brother's legacy and rivalries within the Jackson family. Now, while it was previously reported that Janet declined to participate in the project, the latest angle points to broader context, including how Michael Jackson's relationships, competition, and family positioning are portrayed as a possible factor in her absence. Now, according to a report, Janet is not featured in the film at all. No scenes, what's wrong with report? I mean, has nobody seen the movie? I mean, if you watch the damn movie, it pretty much tells you whether or not they're in the damn film. And we all know she's not in it because everybody keeps talking about it. But anyway, so um yeah, so there's a noticeable omission given her global success and parallel rise during the same era as her brother. And I know there was some people that was complaining in the comments that Janet was 3 when Michael became a superstar at 6 years old. We're not talking about when they were little, dumbass. Y'all love being obtuse on purpose. We're talking about when Michael's career as a solo act. I guess you got to be specific with people before they always try to come in and say dumbass shit in the comments. But Michael and Janet are like two of the most famous Jacksons out of all of them. And one of the things I love about Janet because Joe was trying to take over Janet's career, and then with the third album, Control, she decided to take control of her record. Was like, this other music. This ain't me. This is not what I'm trying to do. My father's trying to push me to do this stuff. I think her father was trying to push her to act, but she also wanted to do music and stuff. So Janet came off and just took control of her career. And one of the things we love about Janet Jackson is that she has distinguished herself from her brother. So she has her specific sound. Michael has his specific sound. It's like Michael was off doing his thing, like with Berry Gordy and all the stuff, but she went off with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It was kind of doing that Minneapolis funk, pop, hip hop, R&B, like taking all those moments and just taking that funky sound from Minneapolis and incorporating that into what she was doing. And Jenna was able to kind of carve out her own niche, which we love that. Now, they also said Jafar Jackson as Michael Jackson being produced and involvement from the Jackson estate and focuses heavily on the rise of superstar, blah, blah, blah. We already know. Now, although specific details about the alleged rivalry connections have not been fully outlined, the framing has sparked conversation about whether Janet's absence reflects more than just a creative choice. For now, fans are left questioning whether one of the most influential members of the Jackson family was intentionally left out or chose to distance herself from how the story is being told. I do wonder if there. I could have sworn they did say that there was some actor that was cast as Janet. And then I believe that down the road they were just like, well, she declined and all this stuff. So they had to probably respect her wishes and not put her in the film. But there was a clip I wanted to show y'all of Paris Jackson because she's also not happy with this. So even though Prince is so happy to get up on all these, you know, networks or whatever the case is and promote his movie and talk about, oh, the media, this and me. I was like, you sound like you've been fed these talking points that, yeah, the media was always after your father and they're evil. And for the most part, there are some conglomerates that do have it out for Michael with the wacko jacko stuff and always trying to push the whole he's a pedophile and all these other things. But some of us just want nuance and transparency when it comes to if you're gonna tell the story, tell it right or don't tell it at all. That's where we're coming from it. But y'all always want to plumb in this Donald Trump fake news talking point. The media is evil, this, that, and the third. They don't know what they're talking about, all that mess. Y'all like playing up the whole victim situation. But I wanted to play all because it seemed like they're all not on the same page. Yeah, Blanket just be there, go along to get along. But Paris is the one who's been the most vocal. And she had said something long before this movie comes out that I feel like y'all need a reminder of. So hold on. Because I was like, I gotta find it. I'm trying to see which one should I bring up. Maybe, because I was like, let me go to the YouTube shorts um of her saying this clip. I was trying to figure out which one should I use. I'll use the Twitter one. Hold on. So we're gonna play this clip and we're gonna come back and talk. Please hold.
Okay, I'm gonna say this and then I'll like kind of just like leave it alone. Because it seems like there's been a lot of responses. There's been a lot of responses to the thing that I posted earlier about just like clarifying like that I wasn't involved at all. Aside from like giving feedback on the first draft and then getting the feedback that yeah, we're not actually going to address your notes at all. And I was like, all right, like fuck me, you know. So I just like butt it out, and I just like I've left it alone because it's not my project. So you know they're gonna make whatever they're gonna make. A big reason why I haven't said anything up until this point is because I know a lot of you guys are gonna be happy with it. Like a big section. The film panders to a very specific section of my dad's fandom that still lives in the fantasy, and they're gonna be happy with it. Just like I remember hearing about how Freddie Mercury's family responded to seeing the Bohemian Rhapsody film, right? And I remember like reading the Dirt autobiography as a kid, and then growing up and like watching the movie they ended up making, starring like MGK, and I was like, okay. The thing about these biopics is it's Hollywood, so this is it's fantasy land. It's not real, but it's sold to you as real. And a lot of sugar-coated, like the narrative is being controlled. And there's a lot of inaccuracy and there's a lot of just full-blown lies. And at the end of the day, like, that doesn't really fly with me. I don't really like dishonesty. I spoke up. I wasn't heard. I fucked off. That's it. Y'all are gonna like the fucking movie. So just go watch it, go enjoy it, do whatever, leave me out of it. Also, something that like quite a lot of people are saying is like she hates her dad. She resents him. She wants nothing to do with him. Because I'm not like calling the shots on set, being a big shot producer of a movie that's filled with just inaccuracies. That's not my truth. That's not where I'm coming from. I just prefer honesty over like sales and monetary gain. Like that's it. And I kind of just don't want anything to do with that. So I'm gonna fuck off again. And I'm gonna keep minding my own business.
She's funny. She's like, I'm just fuck off again and I'm gonna just mind my business. But y'all make the movie y'all want to make. I know the truth. I know who my father was. And yeah, my thing, but what cracks me up is that these fandoms, these people that are lashing out at her, they feel like, but you can't have that opinion. Because we know your daddy. No motherfucker, you know my daddy music. You know the persona of who Michael was. You didn't get to spend the certain have those certain personal moments that I have with my father on that same situation. You didn't get to have those. So how you gonna sit up there and tell me that I'm bitter, that I'm upset over? So you just want people to just go along to get along, just so that way you can get selfishly the project that you want to see, so you can have your little moment of nostalgia. To me, that's just a form of selfishness. And if she's someone that says that that I want transparency and honesty over, and truth over full-fledged lies or fan service and a bunch of bullshit put in the movie, just so that way, and you don't know specifically of what she's talking about. It could be scenes regarding John Branca, who, she's been having an issue with in regards of how the money is being handled at the estate. It could be a lot of those things that's going on. Also, I was hearing stories that, yeah, that Janet is not happy with how the estate's being handled, and as well as Reby and Randy, who Randy, I believe, has been managing Janet. But speaking of that, I think we need to get into this other thing, because there were some comments that I saw over there on um the Jasmine brand, where some people were saying in the comments that had me gagging, chair. So I was like, why is this so small? Hold on, because I gotta adjust, because I was like, yeah, the screen was looking so tiny. I'm like, why is it looking so small? I don't know. It's like ever since I started making some changes to this thing, now I'm like trying to figure out where all the buttons are. So anyway, doing technical stuff while we live. So let me go over to some of the comments and see what the peoples are saying. So one person said probably didn't want anything to do with it because there wasn't they weren't genuine when he was there. I don't blame her. Another person said there's a few factors to consider. The original script did include Janet. Oh yeah, this was the one that I read. I am Sharif, I think is his name. He basically was laying it on down. This is stuff that I was hearing too, but he laid it on down thick. He said the original script did include Janet. Janet, however, has always made it a point to not ride on the coattails of her brother, and his story is her story to. Well, I think he meant, and her story is her story to tell. Also, Janet, Reby, and Randy have had issues with the estate, which may be why all three declined to be involved in this project. While Janet loves and supports all her nephews and nieces, the complexity of Randy and Jermaine sharing a baby mother doesn't help things. Yeah, there's that mess. Bottom line, we all would have loved to see Janet, Michael, and Michael's relationship play out on the big screen, and perhaps when Janet does her biopic, which she plans on doing, hopefully we will get a glimpse at that relationship. But for now, I'm sure she's proud to see Michael have his moment. So, and then this is what, yeah, this is obtuse comment that I was talking about. One person said this is speculative and not confirmed. Janet was literally 3 years old when the Jackson 5 took off. Speculative reports obsessing over Janet's involvement in Michael, the movie, are enormously harmful because they continue to cast her in Michael's shadow when she's worked tirelessly over 4 decades to establish her own artistic identity. First of all, this comment is bullshit because you're talking about casting in Michael's shadow when she spent 4 decades trying to basically carve out her own lane. That's not what we're saying. First of all the siblings had a stake in making music. So should we have not had any of them in the film then? Because if you're talking about that, it hurts the film. Janet is a part of the Jackson household. How you gonna have a bunch of people sitting at a dinner table in the opening sequence of the fucking movie when we travel back to the '60s, and the only girl at the damn table is Latoya? Like, come on. Reby wasn't in there. I don't know how many people was at that table. That little ass table, they had them all bunched around. They had one person sitting in the back seat, the back chair up against a wall eating. But how we supposed to know? Like I said, we couldn't tell which was which, but we only saw one girl besides Catherine at the table, and it was Latoya. Where was Janet? Y'all could at least show the crib in the distance if she was little and not of age. Y'all could have had them in the background, like I said, at the sink, helping Catherine out with some food while the boys is in there doing their little two-step and practicing and all other stuff. You would have had them in the background. They could have been extras. Quiet as it's kept. You treated the rest of the siblings as background performers. So you could have had Reby and them up in there as extras. We would have known. You just had to say the name. They could just been there as window dressing. So yeah, like I said, the whole thing about how you had Jafar as Michael when his mother is messing with is Jermaine's was with Randy first and then went to Jermaine. That's nasty. I don't even know if Randy and her had kids, but she had the kids with Jermaine. Child, what is that system that Jermaine be having in his hair? Was somebody tell him to get rid of that shit? It looked like Jello on top of his head covered in tar. That's what it looked like. It just look a mess. But that's all I got on this story. I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of why Janet is not in the film? Do you think it may be having to do with these things? Because I don't think somebody would just blindly be like, "Eh, I don't want to be in this movie, so therefore that's that." Like, to me, that's a bullshit ass excuse. I would like to know the reason as to why, you know, she chose not to be in the film. And Janet is very secretive. She ain't gonna come out and tell us why. But I do hope down the road we do get a Janet movie because that's something we definitely deserve to see on our screens. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now let's see what the people are saying online. It's funny. Speaking of Megan Trainor, someone says she ate with Shimmer. She ain't eat shit. What are you talking about? Jackie, Rebe, Randy, and Janet are missing from the film. M.I.A. responded to Kid Cudi, I sent you the inbox. She basically said, don't gaslight me. Okay, well, I'll look it up. Someone to call my lover came on the playlist today, and I skipped it immediately. Was not in the mood. During my peak obsession with Janet, I was excited to watch her cameo in the film, and now champ. Neil Long. Oh yeah, I heard about that. That there's a pay disparity. Apparently, they haven't paid her coins, and that's why I said they a mess over there. Like, and I forgot to bring that up. Like, yeah, Neil Long has been quietly trying to settle. Well, it's so quiet. How we know about it? I think that whole film is a mess. So, I'm bopping the mic. Yeah, I mean, no shade. I said this before that I was more or less a Janet fan than a Michael fan. Maybe it's because us being homosexuals, we was up in here getting in with the Janet stuff, and Janet was very like even pushing the sex stuff. I think that's why we liked Janet in that way. Whereas Michael Jackson was very asexual. He was very militant. He started after a while. He started reheating his nachos a little bit, like when he was getting towards the end of his career. But at this point, if he was still alive, all it'd be about is the nostalgia of it all. That would have been one concert I would have loved to have seen. Is Michael Jackson. But knowing him, he'd be doing stadiums. Not Olsen clone. I get it though. She gave notes and they discarded them. I get why she has nothing to do with this. Cause it's like, oh, so the only way the other siblings was gonna get some kind of credit is that they just had to go along with whatever. Plus, Randy and Jermaine don't get along because Jermaine and Randy slept with the same woman and had kids with her. Well, she nasty, and Jermaine is a low down dirty dog. I knew there was a reason why I didn't like his ass. He wanted to be Michael so damn bad. On a lighter note, Davida Von Teese star had Rhythm Nation suit recreation for the 80s ladies runway category in season 18 that she didn't get to show because she got eliminated. That would have been cute to see. It could be a generational thing too. Baby boomers and Gen X live. Yeah, definitely. I wonder if Casting Jafar Jackson was a fuck you to Randy. Might have been. I mean, I wonder. I mean, was there no actors out there that looked like Michael that could have played that part? Dirty Diana was a nasty song. He was eating Diana Ross's box. Well, I talked about the story behind Dirty Diana. That the fact that that song was about Diana Ross, and they made him change the second verse because it was a little too on the nose. You think Paris Jackson has been disowned by her own brothers and she's a black sheep because word is Prince was mad she had addiction issues. Well, look, I don't know what he getting mad for. She got herself clean. She got herself better. How you gonna get mad at someone for whatever journey they're on? If she's, I mean, I don't know the, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know the whole situation behind why as to how bad her addiction was. But the reality is that from what we see, she's clean and sober. She's clear headed, and she's probably one of those that's as outspoken and not afraid to just speak her mind. And a lot of people aren't liking that, particularly the Jackson family, who thrives on keeping everything close to the chest. But she's entitled to get her little compensations, her little money, or whatever the case is. One of my friends said that I forgot who he said that she was an opening act for one of the artists he went to go see, and said she's actually not that bad as a performer. But anyway, let's get back into the show and let's go from the Jacksons to Madonna and Sabrina Carpenter, who have good reason to celebrate because the children have spoken. And it looks like Madonna has come out on top yet again because the Queen of Pop has reclaimed her throne. And she has one of this week's favorite new songs with Bring Your Love. And she has I think I have I don't know if I put the chart in here. Let me see if I actually copied it. I probably forgot, but um we'll just go through it. And yeah, I forgot to put it in here, but 'cause I wanted to show y'all the actual chart placement of all the songs that are a part of the situation. But anyway, let's get into the story. So, Bring Your Love, Madonna and Sabrina Carpenter's new song release tops this week's Best New Music poll. Now, listeners voted on a poll published Friday, May 1st on Billboard, choosing the superstars team up as their favorite music release this week. Now, Bring Your Love rose to the top in a week that also delivered new music from Zara Larsson, Casey Musgraves, and Bella Porch. I don't know who that is. Plus, the new soundtrack accompanying the box office hit The Devil Wears Prada 2. At the poll's closing time on Sunday, Madonna and Sabrina have amassed an overwhelming 88.99% of the vote. Now, interestingly, there was a Madonna and Devil Wears Prada crossover over the weekend in movie theaters, where a teaser for Madonna's upcoming Confessions 2 album played ahead of the film. The promo spot featured Madonna and Vogue's Anna Wintour, who's ready to hear the confessions to come on July 3rd. And so yeah, and like I told y'all earlier when we were talking about this story, I mean, I know there was some people that said that they didn't get to see the promo ahead of The Devil Wears Prada 2. So I think certain screens are showing it, certain screens aren't. I don't know which ones. At this point, it doesn't really matter because if you go on social media, the clip is already up there. So Devil Wears Prada did its thing. It made its money. This is back when we were talking about box office earlier in the show, and so it's done its big one. It's made a ton of money at the box office. It's number one in the country and in the world, and it's already, I guess, made its budget back. So um you can go online pretty much. Madonna already uploaded it. You can see it. I saw it earlier because I didn't get around to seeing The Devil Wears Prada 2 yet. Probably the only homosexual in America that hasn't seen it. Excuse me, but nevertheless, it's out there. Now, they said the Madonna and Sabrina duet, of course, is meant for the dance floor, or at least meant to put your mind in that transcendent space. The pair excuse me. The pair debuted the single in Madonna's surprise guest appearance during Carpenter's recent Coachella set, then officially unleashed the studio version of the song on Friday. And then they gave us a visualizer where I think if you look pretty close, you get to see a little bit of the rave sequence that was mentioned in a lot of the tabloids. I think the Mirror was the first one to leak, and then the Daily Mail, I think, did a story on it where they were talking about that Madonna was over in the UK filming a music video. I think she had shot it for 2 days. And then I think that if I'm not mistaken, I heard she did reshoots on some of this stuff because she wasn't satisfied with the finished product of the video. But the rumor was is that yeah, there was a big rave sequence or whatever that they shot, and they had aerialists and all kinds of other stuff. So this video is very high profile and expensive. Which I just read a story today that is talking about that more people are pushing for music videos and not be so highfalutin and overly expensive. Like back in the day, we used to get these big videos on MTV. Now they want to simplify, which is why I love Slater's rollout for her new album. Which she didn't really go there with going all expensive and all out with the videos. The videos are very DIY. I think that's kind of like that whole Tumblr or whatever case type of vibe that they're going for. So um but yeah, the visualizer came out and it looks cool or whatever. If you can get past that seizure inducing pink or whatever the case is, you get to see a little bit of the rave and everything in there. I just feel like at this point, y'all need to release the music video soon because remember there was rumors going around that Beyonce is supposed to make an announcement about Act 3 at the Met Gala tonight. Her people have denied it. That is the rumor that's going around. I don't know how true it is, but um you don't want other people coming in trying to steal your thunder in regards to this whole situation. So and the one thing I love about this song is like, yeah, it's 90s house. It's got that vibe. There was I forget the name of the sample that they used, but you barely hear the sample in the thing. So I think it's more or less an interpolation. And Sabrina has no hand in the songwriting. The songwriting, when you look at the songwriting credits, it says strictly Madonna, not even Stuart Price came in and did a co-write. So You could definitely tell that Madonna's back in her writing bag. She's really taking the reins with a lot of stuff. And we love the chorus. Bring your love, cause you cannot shake me. Bring your love, cause you'll never take me. And it's like how simple it. Doom, 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 doom. It's such an earworm. It's such in your head. Like it's easy to remember the lyrics. And I always say this, like a lot of the pop stars that's coming on right now, y'all be overstuffing it with the lyrics and stuff. And it'd be hard for my mind to just bog down a lot of what y'all saying. I still don't know all the lyrics to Call Me Mother. Quiet as it's coming. I don't think RuPaul does either. But Mia Star does. But for the most part, I just like how it's such an earworm. It's so catchy, and you can't get it out of your head. Yes, that was a Kylie reference, but yeah, you can't get it out of your head. So, and everybody can relate to that whole situation of like bringing somebody your love. Even though some people say you can't bring somebody love. Yes, the fuck you can. In my situation, you can bring somebody some love. Bring me love, bitch. Or bring me your booty hole. I don't know. So I'm looking forward to hearing all this. It does feel very confession-y when you listen to the lyrics. I also like how she would throw things in there that's a throwback or reference to other songs. Like I got something I want to say about it, which is very much express yourself coded. So a lot of it is like a callback to old songs that Madonna has done. And I like that she throws a bit of those little Easter eggs in there for her fans and waxing nostalgic. And the fact of the matter is, yeah, she's going in for a whole late 80s early 90s house music vibe, and we're in that whole nostalgic bag. But what I love about what Madonna's doing versus what Lady Gaga's attempting to do with this Devil Wears Prada 2 soundtrack, which quiet as it's kept, a lot of those songs on there sound like cutting room floor tracks from the Chromatica era. It feels more real and nuanced with Madonna. It's like I'm looking back at the late 80s with house, but I also did my due diligence, meaning my homework. And I know like if we're gonna reference a lot of those tracks, like really go in and study and bring a lot of those that feeling back of what it was like being in those clubs back in the day. Yeah, in the late 80s and the 90s, I was not in the clubs. I was way too young. I didn't start going to the clubs and being in that scene until like the late 90s, going into the 2000s. So I was able to go up into, getting to go to the Roxy and going to Twilo and going to a lot of those parties in New York City and Splash. I lived in Splash. And that's how I was able to meet, all the drag queens and all the other stuff that was going up in there. Shout out to my friend Big Kim, because that's why I met her. We met up in there when she used to do her Latin night on Wednesdays. One thing was like 10 o'clock, and that was around the time, and I'm about to read them for this, because they would go from the glass clubs to the plastic, because apparently you coloreds, they would think would just destroy the glasses up in there. So yeah, they went from glass to plastic. I called it even back then, and I called it, I said, so what? The colors is coming up here. That's why y'all changing these cups. Yeah, I had a mouth back. Look, my mouth never changed. But anyway, so and having the opportunity, like when they had Splash, was like Madonna was stopping there, Janet was there, Britney performed. It was like that was a time to be had when the party scene was what it was in New York. So um with Gaga though, girl, she gives me Mercury Lounge teas, very Upper East Side. That you was that girl that would sit at the like you were Billy Joel with tits, and because that music wasn't working, you had to pivot and get into the whole pop music space. So when she comes in here trying to act like she's a dance floor queen, girl, that's not what you was never about that life. Because when I was up in the clubs, when I was up in that scene, you was not up in there. So I don't like this whole image that you're trying. And plus, you dropped out of NYU. You don't like to tell nobody that, but you dropped out of NYU and was trying to pursue the whole music thing full time. So this whole image that you try to perpetuate of yourself of being like this girl that came up in the scene, it's some bullshit. And so, with this list, the fandom is pissed, as in the baby critters, because Madonna and Sabrina have a hit, and their girl song, I think is currently, which one is it? Is it the one with her and Doshi? That song is floating around in like, I think at number 88 on the charts, when Madonna has a number one and number two song in the country with two of the songs that she released. One is a deep house club track, like something that you would hear in an underground club. Like I told you, like the first single that she released, well, not even a single, it's a buzz track. That's what we would call it. That's what we called it back then. I guess we could still call it that. The buzz track to get you aware of what is the music from the album, or what setting the mood and that sort of thing. That's like something like I'm walking down a long corridor before I get up in the club. That's what that song was giving me, like very much like I'm in Justify My Love, where I'm like my blonde hair and I'm walking down the hallway and I'm like clutching my boobs and I'm like, ah, you remember that scene in the video? That's what that song gives me. And then Bring Your Love is like, yes, that obvious radio house hit. It's so simple, but it's effective. But then when you listen to the song, one of the things and I've always loved this about music, the simplest of songs, you start to notice the multi layers that you peel back the onion, and you start to realize the multi layeredness that's within in those songs. And that's what I love about this song is that it's simple but effective. And more artists need to be like that instead of trying to overdo it or trying to prove a point or trying to come up with your own version of Vogue or your own version of Born This. I mean, not Born This Way, Express Yourself, which Born This Way is, or so many other things where you're trying to pander instead of just creating something natural because the creative artistry within you is giving you the ability to create that. And the fans need to be mad at her for coming out with these mid-ass dance tracks and stop being mad when other people had their moments to shine. I don't get the insecurity from the baby critters. It's like everybody could be out here winning. If y'all love y'all girl so much, go out there and bump her music, support it, and all that other stuff. I also heard that some people were saying Madonna fans don't stream. Well, I don't know about all that. If the fans out there don't stream, maybe they just buying up the physical copies. I just told you I bought two variants. I bought the grinder vinyl, and I got the deluxe 16 track non-skip edition of CD. That's supposed to be coming in July. So I bought two physical copies. So she got my coins. Now, in regards of the streaming stuff, I stream, but I'm a rarity. I'm not everybody. I'm me. So I do stream, and I've been listening to every time because I even have a playlist called Strike a Pose on Apple Music. I think everybody can have access to it though. It's not something I created; it's something they have on there. But I go on the Strike a Pose um, situation, and they have first song, Bring Your Love. And then it plays like it's a playlist of like all the songs that I guess they would think it's called Strike a Pose. It's like the songs that they would think that the gays would actually listen to, like the dance pop and all that type of stuff. So it's DJ mixes, you get Honey Dijon, you get Madonna, you get Beyonce, you get Kylie, you get all the divas. Even Gaga, they put two of the songs on the Devil Wears Prada 2 soundtrack. That's how I was able to hear it. And the funny thing is, the song she did with Doechii, what's the best part of that song I like? How loud the bass is in my ears. It's the only thing. Everything else is like Doechii's on it, Gaga's doing the chorus, she's barely on her own damn song, and that's it. But to get to the thing, because I know I wanted my little rant, they basically said, oh wait, let me actually pull the poll up for y'all so y'all can see it. Because I was like, I'll just pull it up on here. Since I don't have time to like render it and all that other mess. I don't want to have to do all of that. So there it is. They have, I'm sure y'all can see it. So yeah, which is your favorite new music release of the week? And the poll, like the library, has officially been closed. So they have Madonna and Sabrina Carpenter with 88.99%, Bella Porch with Ribcage. I don't know who that girl is. 4.01%, maybe because I'm not the demographic. Now, Zara Larson, Midnight Sun Girls Trip. I heard a couple of songs on the record. It's a little too poppy for me. I'm not feeling that record, but congratulations to you, Miss Lady. Casey Musgraves, Middle of Nowhere with 1.71%. Devil Wears Prada 2 soundtrack with 1.71%. So it's tying with Casey Musgraves. And other is 0.58%. So that's the score. Those are the numbers. And that's the poll. And the people have spoken. So don't be mad at me. I don't make the news. I just report it. Go argue with your mammy. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding that Madonna and Sabrina Carpenter, shocker to no one, except the haters, that the Queen of Pop and the diva in training, Sabrina, have the biggest hit in the country. And this is a way for, I guess, Sabrina to introduce her fans to Madonna's music. Those who ain't really been listening to her music like that. And hopefully with Bring Your Love and Madonna's work ethic and her style of doing songs, whatever the case is, maybe that'll rub off on Sabrina and she'll get a little more mature with her musical style. Because, yeah, she's a little too girly for me. That's why I keep getting to Sabrina. And I worked a tour, so I can say that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And do Jesus, we got a lot of comments. Hold on. I think I told y'all mine. I said well, I probably did. What's Love Got to Do with It with Tina Turner? I love that damn movie. And the Michael Jackson VH1 miniseries, I'll put that one in there too. Some of us noticed it was sped up to hide the ending of track 3 transition, and the ending was also sped up to hide the transition of track 5. Hmm. Yeah, because she don't want that getting out. I'm surprised they didn't do like an individual, like where you can cut it and just find a way to like, this is the single version, this is the album version. Remember they used to do that back in the day? I didn't watch Olivia on SNL. I heard about it, how she threw shade at Jake Paul, but no, I didn't watch it. And I saw that she got introduced by Connor Story and Debbie Harry. So being that I have Peacock, I might check it out, or I can just go on YouTube and watch her performances. I wanted to watch, but then I remembered SNL hasn't made me laugh since before. Yeah, I don't really watch SNL because I don't find it funny. I just watch the performances, and I usually go on YouTube for that. But I'll check it out. I forget it. I'm not going on no damn Peacock because I got to sit through. That's the only streaming service that I have that has ads on it. But I'll go on YouTube and just watch the performances. I want a bad matchup with Gaga's Runway with Chill. Actually, what I think needs to happen is the sample they use for excuse me, that for Bring Your Love. I was hearing them say on the podcast that they should actually use the original version of that beat and do a mashup of that with Madonna's vocals to hear how that sounds. If DJ people, maybe Felix, you could do that. Take that beat, put it behind, see if you could work that behind Madonna's "Bring Your Love," like isolate the vocal. No, I know terms too. It's like isolate the vocal, put it behind that beat, and see if you can make it work. It said Madonna officially trademarked. I told you one of my friends did a Pride mix of was it Bring Your Love? No, it might have been the first song. I gotta remember. I gotta look it up because I know I downloaded it. I be forgetting, child. Madonna officially trademarked Queen of Pop and Creamy Pop Goddess, and it's forever. Well, I mean, look, now they're about to really be mad over that. I went to see the movie last night. They didn't show the ad at the AMC I was at, but I'm sure you probably seen it by now. It's all over social media. And she won on proving the estate of Michael Jackson trademark King of Pop. Yeah, that's my skill. Well, you let Michael trademark King of Pop. Why can't I trademark Queen of Pop? They call me that. Isn't the music video that she was doing in London was super X-rated from those alleged leaks? Unless it's another. No, they were saying that it's very sexual. I did hear that too, but I don't know how much you're gonna be able to get away with on social media. She probably have the age restricted if it's on YouTube. Or girl, the smart no, not a real gag would be I'm a post it on OnlyFans, and y'all all gotta subscribe to OnlyFans to watch the video. Or somebody could record it and post it on Twitter. Catherine Jackson turned 96. Well, happy birthday, Catherine, or mother, as they would call her. I don't know. Whenever somebody say mother, it reminds me. Well, one thing, my mother hates if I call her mother. She said it makes it sound like you calling me motherfucker, so I don't say that. Or some people was like mother. It reminds me of Norman Bates. It gives me that. Mother, what have you done, mother? We know her to put out videos. These visualizers ain't. Yeah, she's not a visualizer artist. She's a music video artist. But Donna has benefited wholeheartedly from the music video world, and I think that's what she needs to stick to and figure out how to make music videos work within this era of social media. Apollonia Cruz sent some love said I hated when she did that video with Tokisha. I don't even remember that shit. What she did was they probably did have her on a budget, especially because you know how Interscope was treating her over there. Gaga needs to stop reheating her damn nachos from 2020. The soundtrack smelled like. I know somebody that said they like the soundtrack. I'm like, now you lost me because I got you interested in listening to the new Melanie C album, which Melanie C had me getting my life at the gym this weekend. But um maybe because she don't know how to reinvent herself. Like, what is the next thing you're gonna do after Mayhem? I think she should just settle and get married to Michael and have the baby. Love to hear it. And you said, I see there's like 20 already from different people. Of course, you know, they waste no damn time. Rumor is Madonna made a deal with Apple Music to be exclusive for the videos for 2 weeks before it goes to YouTube, since YouTube and Billboard stopped working together. So I guess I'll have to watch the video on Apple Music, which will be cool because I have Apple Music. I'm a subscriber. And the music video, they could put it like you have to go on Apple Music. So, like, you know how when you have, I don't know, for those of you who don't have it, they have this thing where you get the first two tracks, and then right after it plays like that little visualizer thing of her on top of the speaker, and it's like blowing the veil over her head. So they could put that in there because, funny enough, when Mayhem came out, they had the video for Disease and Abracadabra. That was all a part of the album. So they could do that with her too. That exclusive, you got to go on Apple Music and watch the video. And many gays are even saying we need to bring hardcore gay corn back to the screens to get. Oh yeah. Well, I know plenty of parties that do that. I ain't gonna say who because I don't want to get them in trouble because I want them to continue having their parties in New York. But during certain parties, where one of my friends threw back a throwback party, I wanted to go but I couldn't. Where they were doing like it was a leather theme or whatever the case was, and there was hardcore corn playing on the screens. And there were other parties that I've been to where, like, I think at the Eagle they even show stuff like that on there. So and I haven't been to the Eagle in a month of Sundays. The other day I was watching this Nasty Pig video where they did their photo shoot at the Eagle, and it was bringing back so many memories. I was like, oh, I remember that bar, or I remember that little section outside, and I've gone on the rooftop. I love that was the only one Eagle that's in Chelsea. I do miss going to that Eagle, and I'm hope maybe this summer I'll have to take a visit. And then the best part, like on Sundays, when you go outside and you get like the tacos or the hot dogs, whatever the case is, and then I miss that. And then I remember at my other friend's party it was like Rock Bar on Sundays, they would have like somebody with barbecue hot dogs, whatever. You have that with the beer and all that. I think it was like a beer bus. Those are great things about New York. There's always something fun to do. That's a good question. It's been a minute. I feel like the last good music videos that we got from Madonna was from the Confessions era. I don't think any of the hard candy stuff looked very low budget. Even the Give It To Me video, I'm like, what is this shit? And so I'm going to say Confessions. I feel like was the last era where she gave us good music videos. I mean, when she did, I will say some of the Madam X videos, I did like those. It was more artistic. The God Control video was very controversial. But I'm gonna say like the last videos that I felt like was peak Madonna that I loved. I will say Confessions. Post that, I don't think I particularly cared. Girl Gone Wild was giving Kazaki tease because they were all trying to capitalize off of that at the time. What happened to them? To me, Bring It Up made me think of the sound Stevie Silk Hurley had with his type of house. He said, "Now, Chris, I don't do the Stan War stuff, but do you really want to bring up Runway on the Billboard Hot 100 chart where Feel So Free was nowhere to be seen on that chart?" I could have sworn that Feel So Free was on the chart. When Spotify debuted in 2008, Madonna's career was 26 years old. Was she? I mean, was it? Yes. I want to kiss you in Paris. And what does she want to do in Rome? It's on the dance charts. That's what matters. Madonna was signed as a club act, not a pop act. And he said, Justify My Love is one of Madonna's greatest songs. A video, I want to run naked in a rainstorm. Okay. Y'all gonna sit up here and do all the lyrics? Hey, hold on now. Kids never forgave Madonna for calling Gaga reductive because it felt like an attack on them. I don't know how you thinking it was an attack on them. I'm talking about this broad specifically. I ain't saying her damn. Now, if I said her fans is reductive, that's a different story. I don't get people. People are weird. Bella Poach is oh Lord, here we go. Another TikToker turned artist. Never listened to her, but she gets compared to Melanie Martinez. Wait, was that a read on Melanie Martinez? Or or you feel like she's trying to copy her? So why would Madonna embrace streaming? We don't do free music. It feels like robbery. You guys okay? I mean, in a way, she's not stealing. If I'm paying a fee a month, I'm not stealing the music. I'm paying to listen to it. But the problem, I feel like it should be with the label or the studio or the way that it's like, oh, I gotta stream how many in order to get like a percentage? Like that's crazy. So I feel like the industry should be called out for how they're doing this whole streaming situation, that artists aren't being compensated for streaming. Child, that was the number. Now 1.71 rating. Did you see someone said Kylie should have died from cancer because she likes Madonna? Well, there's a special place in hell for that person. For them to say something like that. And sidebar, speaking of Kylie, we supposed to get a first look at the trailer for her new Netflix docu-series that drops tomorrow. Sabrina fans aren't feeling it because they're not into house music, and Sabrina isn't a dance artist, but hopefully she does club music. Well, I just think like Sabrina's voice complements Madonna's, so the interchangeability of it, I just love the fact that their voices complement each other. But yeah, it's like she's not a dance artist. I mean, she dances on stage, and she does little things here and there, but yeah, it's like if that's not your wheelhouse, then I'm jumping on it. Because one of the things I've always been saying is that you get too many of these girls out here that when their careers be in the toilet, what do? They pander to the gays for that clout. And so let me do a dance record. I would have said that's kind of like what I felt with Demi Lovato, but no shade, them songs are bops. So I can't hate on her too much. And then when she performed at the Garden, the homosexuals came out in droves, including a friend of mine that I didn't even know came to the concert. Do you think Madonna chose good singles in the 2000s? Was it really up to her though, or was it the label? um, I don't know. A lot of people are praising the new cast. Wait, what cast? What are we talking about? I forgot. Just that quick. Yes, Madonna was huge in the 2000s. I mean, we had Confessions, we had Music. That was the 2000s. 2000 what? 2000 actually is when Music came out, right? Yeah, and then Confession. Wait, we had American Life too. We can't forget that. I Feel So Free is a non-single, little promotion, no music video, so not surprised that it didn't chart. Yeah, that was also it was a buzz track. It wasn't officially put as a single, as I said before. It was to give you a taste of what to expect off the new album. It wasn't meant to be a single. Bring Your Love is the single. You never know with Sabrina. She could do what she did last year, announce a single and a brand new album. Oh yeah. Well, I did feel like that last album she came out with, it felt very rushed. And that was probably the label trying to capitalize off of the success of, the other what was the of the other songs from the previous album. So now I need to bring out more stuff. You mean a mashup of Good Life would bring up yes. She's a club act, not a pop star. Once people realized that, because her sire contract was a club deal, her main forte is club music. Yeah, and at one point, people thought that she was really going to get into the club stuff, but she never really went there. Now I feel like with Confession, she did disco and dance, but now with this record, she really is getting into like the meat and potatoes of house music. I would love for her to. I mean, she's DJ'd for her before. She even was an opening act on the Celebration tour. I would have loved to have seen Honey Dijon work with Madonna on some tracks for this record. I mean, who knows? Maybe she did, right? Because I love her remix of "I Don't Search, I Find" and some of the other remixes that she's done on Madonna's music. But I would have loved for Madonna to work with Honey Dijon on the new record and just have Stewart come in and just do his magic of like bringing it all together. We need a remix of David Guetta. You said we need a remix like David Guetta did with Revolver, but with a different producer. Lord Guetta elevated that shit too. Did y'all hear the remix to his song with Jennifer Lopez, "Save Me Tonight"? That was on. That's also included in the little playlist I was listening, the Strike a Pose playlist on Apple Music. The remixes, I think it was Joel Corey that produced it actually. He did a remix of the song. The remixes are coming and we're tagging Warner Records. We need 7 minutes to 25, not 25 minutes, child. I mean the longest we've done was like 11, a good 11 minutes. You know, how we used to get back in the day with like Hex Hector and Thunderpuss, like, or Peter Rohofer, one of my favorites. May he rest in peace. If y'all go in that direction, then I'm here for it. But 25 minutes, oh no, I'm like, I gotta turn that. That's too damn long. Shit, I mean, not even Donna Summer did a song that long. Not Divas. Sailor Mermaids in the building. I want to do at least a 5-6 minute remix myself. Madonna meeting to Spotify. If you have a free version, how come the videos are gate kept to premium? They cry, foul, and screamed at her for calling us. I mean, look, you try to rip people off. That's literally what it is. Oh, you heard my Eagle story. um, we saw her last great music video, the one with Sway Lee. It's a cute one. It was given like, why, girl, when did you turn into Mike Tyson? Y'all up in here on a rooftop in Brooklyn playing with pigeons. Yeah, that was the best video. Probably the most expensive too. Bitch, I'm Madonna was a moment. I remember seeing that everywhere. Yeah, that was a good one too. Shout out to Fine Ass Diplo. Ghost Town was a good one. Look, y'all could drop it up in there, what y'all thought the video was, because I can't think of any. Um, Maybe because I was disappointed with a lot of the errors post confessions. Miss Hennifer said, "Don't spit on my craft." What craft? And you said, yes, the Cray. Well, somebody liked the Cray video. I saw an interview with Madonna a while ago about working on music. I kind of miss when she used to play instruments. People forget she does play guitar. She gonna play it on tour. That's what she gonna do. She ain't gonna do it in the studio. She gonna let Stewart and them handle all of that because she's more or less focusing on using her vocals as an instrument, which she, if you notice, she's been playing around a lot with her vocals on the first two singles that we've heard, or the first two songs that we heard, because I keep labeling the first song as a single. So I was like, yeah, she's been playing around and using her vocals as an instrument. But yeah, when she gets on this tour, most like you know, she'll go out there and play that guitar. Cause she played the guitar on the she played, yeah, she played the guitar on the Celebration tour, right? If I can remember correctly. Stephen Sucker Ass Smith says he felt betrayed by the black community, saying he lost the community and he's not. Oh, so that is that why he's going into this whole thing? Because recently he got dragged for defending Trump. So you keep out here grifting because you want to get into politics because you want to get money out of the situation because the sports world ain't enough. You know, the basketball season is starting to simmer down, except for the playoffs. So now you're trying to find a way to stay relevant. So now you want to jump into pop culture stuff. I talk about Megan Thee Stallion and her situation, and then you want to talk about politics, which you know nothing about, and then you get mad because people are calling your ass a coon. Get the fuck out of here. I've asked a few younger coworkers what they think of Madonna, and they barely know who she is and what she's done. Their lack of curiosity astounds me because they don't care about shit. But yeah, I don't understand a lot of the younger people who don't know who she is. When a lot of your favorites were inspired by her, y'all need to learn who. Y'all better get to know Mother. Tracy Young's remix of music was 13 minutes. I said like a 12-minute, 13. Well, I didn't say 13, but I said like 11 minutes, 12 minutes max. Speaking of which, I saw a recent interview with Tracy Young. Wasn't it with the guy that always interviews a lot of the celebrities or artists that work with Madonna? Tracy Young, I think, just did an interview. I didn't get around to watching it. I did save it in the thing, my history to watch it later on when I can get around to it. Dead Mouse on a Madonna remix. I love progressive house. I do like. I remember one person I knew used to call him Dead Mouse 5. I'm like, no, it's Dead Mouse. Excuse me. You show Madonna ain't pulling her and fake playing it. Not her fake playing the guitar. No, Madonna actually does play guitar because I remember back when was it when she first started like really getting to play guitar. It might have been I don't know if oh yeah, it was the Drown World era when she came out with Ray of Light. That's when she started playing the guitar. And Monty Pittman, who was always her guitarist up until Confessions, because I mean not Confessions, because he was in a Confessions tour, up until Celebration, because Celebration, she ain't had no damn instrument. She just had pre-recorded tracks, which I hope she doesn't do that again. I mean, I guess it saved money or whatever the case was. But if Warner is back in the situation, I know we need the backup singers, we need the backup dancers. Oh, and can you get Nikki and Donna to come back for this tour? That would be iconic if you can get Nikki and Donna to come back to be the background singers. But no, around that time, that's when she started playing the guitar with Monty Pittman was her guitar teacher. And this is around the time when she was still looking down and hitting the guitar like she wasn't fully confident. Now it's like she ain't pulling to her. Who is she? Her is she. Madonna vocals was fixed. Warner saw the conversation. Too many accusations on Diplo, Azealia Banks, and a girl named Shelly, Quinlan Blackwell, too. He looked, child, allegedly. What you talking about was fixed? What was wrong with it? They felt like she was mumbling like she was doing in God Control. Everyone knows the damn truth. Yeah, that's how she was singing in that damn song. I'm like, Joe Joel Wyatt shut. People who don't know who Kate Bush is, that part. Because I don't know how you don't know who that is. I mean, at least if you watch Stranger Goddamn Things, you should have known who she was from, who she is. Tracy Young did an interview with a guy who did the Madonna. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Excuse me. Dead Mouse would never remix Madonna. Don't forget how he was mad about her Molly. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He did that because when she did the MDNA era, it was a take on MDMA and how when Madonna went to shake everybody's hands at the title signing, everybody was shaking her hand, and Dead Mouse was like, "No, ma'am." So he was a hater because he don't like the fact that he felt that you was coming up in here, um, pulling a Charlie XCX and pissing on the whole dance music. So not Molly, you in danger, girl. Madonna had her jaw clenched hard to show her anger. Now I get it, but I was just making it was a joke. But anyway. All right, y'all. So now let's give the baby critters more reason to be pissed. Let's talk about Shakira, who pretty much surpassed Lady Gaga's number over there in Rio because she performed over the weekend at Copacabana Beach. And according to the reports, she pretty much did her big one over there. This is the same one that we had heard about that they were putting the stage and everything together, and one of the crew members had, well, I think he was crushed to death. So condolences to the family and everything over there, because we didn't talk about that on the show, but I wanted to bring that up in this because it pertains to in so many ways, because he was helping putting that stage together and he lost his life putting the stage together for her to get up there and start shaking them hips. Because them hips don't lie, remember? So Latina pop sensation Shakira performed a free concert on Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil on Saturday night. That would be May 2nd. The Grammy-winning and Guinness World Record-holding Colombian star drew approximately they said 2 million people. I got the actual number coming up once we're done with this story. But anyway, they said approximately 2 million people to one of the world's most iconic waterfronts. This came days after a construction worker died in a tragic accident during preparations for Shakira's concert in Brazil. So she said They said she performed 30 songs. I'm like, God damn, that's about the same amount that Peso Pluma performed. I think he performed like 33, but she did 30 songs that included guest appearances by Anita, Maria Bethania, and Caetano Veloso. Well, of course, with Anita being Brazilian, of course you need to bring her up on stage. I'm surprised she didn't bring up Pablo Vittar, but now I guess it's becoming a little cliche to bring that Brazilian queen up on stage every time somebody performed there. So she said, I arrived here when I was 18 years old, dreaming about singing for you, the Colombian born Shakira told the crowd shortly after taking the stage. And now look at us. Life is magical. Now, Shakira's set included hits like Hips Don't Lie, She Wolf, BZRP Music Sessions, number 53, La Tortura, Waka Waka. I almost said Waka Waka. Waka Waka, whenever, and Choka Choka. She loved repeating herself twice. Choka Choka, whenever, wherever. It's kind of like not twice. Waka Waka, not Waka Waka Flame, but you know. So now she's the third consecutive female artist to perform a free show at Copacabana Beach, following Kanta in 2024 and Lady Gaga in 2025. The latter show drew a record-breaking 2.5 million people to the Rio de Janeiro beach. That's what they keep saying, but we know y'all be cooking the books with that damn number. So the reality is with the number where they saying that, well, they also said that despite being a free concert, she's expected to generate an estimated $150 million to the in tourism revenue to Brazil. So she bringing in the money. And let me tell you something. You ain't seen a fine ass man until you seen some Brazilians. The men are built different. Brazilians and Colombians. I don't know where y'all be from, especially some of these Colombians that be living out in Jackson Heights, Queens. Bitch, I'm like, where y'all dig them specimens up from? But yeah, now according to this, because let me pull this out so y'all can actually see the number. So yeah, it says 2.1 million was Gaga and 2.5 million was Shakira. So they up in here trying to say that she did 2.5 million when it's Shakira did 2.5 million. So y'all been here trying to cook the books to make the white lady surpass Shakira. But apparently the people's upset because Shakira, well, the Gaga fans, from what I was hearing, are upset over this whole situation. And I'm like, I don't know why y'all just be out here mad about any little thing that's going on. We're all these ladies are out here winning. I don't know why people being all upset over this whole situation. Let the girls have a moment. Let them do their big ones. Gaga had a moment. Madonna had a moment. And now Shakira's having her moment. And allegedly next year, y'all about to be mad again because word on the curb is Beyonce is going to be performing at Copacabana Beach doing a free show. That is the rumor. Don't hold it to me as truth, but that is what's been floating around saying that Beyonce might be the next one to go up and do the thing at Copacabana Beach, which would make a whole lot of sense because Beyonce is international. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Shakira definitely going over to Brazil and selling out? The Brazilians love her over there. Like she said, when she was a teenager, she moved out there and was making music and all this other stuff. And the Brazilians, they love her. And I love the fact that people are willing to go out there every year and just help the revenue, the tourism revenue out in Brazil. One of these days, I'm gonna get my behind out there and engulf myself in the culture and the men. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I wonder who will break Shakira's record in 2027. Tends to be a trend tradition. Yeah, that's what it seems like. It's always gonna be somebody who's gonna surpass that record. I guess depending on the artist. And a lot, I guess in Brazil, they don't really get to see celebrities often. So the fact of the matter is that people travel around the world. You got the locals there that are going to go try to see, this concert. I think that's a great thing. But like I said, the word on the street is Beyonce might be, performing. I don't know why they got Icona Pop's album coming out in August. That's just the dumbest shit. I feel like if y'all was gonna be smart, you should have did it similar to Melanie C. Release it like in May. First of all, if you're a dance artist, you should not be releasing music that late. But maybe I don't know. Europe, they listen to dance music all year round. It's starting to get warm out. It's literally 62 degrees out right now, but earlier it was in the 70s. It's supposed to get hotter this week. So they should have had that. I just feel it's in the August is in the summer. This is dumb. So I don't know what label they're on, but Icona Pop, y'all need to be independent. Like they already got screwed the first time because they were open to act for Megan Trainor. Megan canceled her show, so they're out here probably gonna have to do like little tiny venues, whatever the case, which is fine. They could do that and promote, play the previous music plus the new stuff and or find somebody else's tour to jump on. Because man, I don't know at this point who they can get with. Because Pussycat Dolls just canceled a lot of their tour dates. It's a mess out here in these streets. Madonna would have had the same number as Shakira if she was able to push and promote and announce it earlier than a few weeks from the end of the celebration tour. They don't do physicals because their fan base aren't into it. Excuse me. I cannot wait till I'm finally rid this damn cold. I'm over it. But anyway, let's get into some more hot topic. Yanny. And let's talk about problematic ass M.I.A. because this bitch is out of a damn job because she decided to go on the concert as an opening act for Kid Cudi and spew some anti-immigration rhetoric. So once hailed as the future of music, M.I.A. has officially become the artist most committed to torching her own legacy, and her latest stunt at the Kid Cudi show in Dallas might be her most spectacular act of self-sabotage yet. Now, over the weekend, M.I.A. drew massive boos during her opening set in Dallas on Kid Cudi's The Rebel Rangers tour after claiming she was canceled after becoming a Republican and making controversial remarks about potential illegal immigrants in the audience. Now, what's funny about this whole situation is, ma'am, you are from the UK, right? She's Sri Lankan, who I believe is from the UK. I don't know where in her bright mind she talking about I'm a Republican. Bitch, you can't even vote in the United States of America. So how the fuck are you a Republican? Well, I could say you a dumbass bitch. That's what you are, because now you out of a job. I was like, what happened to my picture? Okay, there it is. Now, according to two separate Reddit posts about the May 2nd show at Dos Equis Pavilion, the Paper Plane singer, yeah, her one hit, a big hit in America, I should say. Um, the Paper Planes singer first commented about the backlash to her being a Republican, though M.I.A. is likely unable to participate in U.S. elections as a UK citizen. She followed Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s lead in 2024 in endorsing Trump. Well, that endorsement ain't worth the price of tea in China because, bitch, like I said, your dumb ass can't even vote. Now, here's what one Redditor had to say. They said, on the way home right now from the Kid Cudi show in Dallas, Big Boy and Sleepy Brown were phenomenal openers. Once M.I.A. came on, there was little hype, but not as much as Big Boy. At one point in her performance, M.I.A. starts talking to the crowd and said, I've been canceled for many reasons. I never thought I would be canceled for being a brown Republican vote. Girl, please. This dumb comment completely killed the vibe, and she started getting boos. So then, I don't really care. She said it will be illegal. Wait, what's IIRC? I said I don't really care. But they said she said it would be illegal for her not to play a certain song. Then follows with there's probably a couple of them in the crowd. She started getting booed even harder. So she started just saying shit to try to win the crowd back over. I'm illegal too. Half of my crew couldn't make it here today because they couldn't get their visas. Well, maybe you would probably had an easier pill to swallow. You would have like, yeah, I'm a brown Republican who voted for Trump, and now I realize I was a dumbass bitch because I voted for someone who was a staunch criminal, a fascist, racist prick who is, and it is on paper that you are a convicted felon for rape of Eugene, what's her name, King? Eugene Carroll. I don't know why I keep thinking Eugene King. That's the isn't she like a tennis player or whatever? But anyway, how you got and that was and I believe Eugene is coming out with a book or a document. No, it's a documentary. That's what it is. And it's supposed to be coming out with a documentary, something or another. And so then you got duped because you decided to vote for him. And I'm not saying you need to vote for Kamala because, yeah, we wouldn't have gotten the same amount of craziness that we get now, but we know that she would have cucked herself to Israel and all that other stuff, and we could have held her feet to the fire more so than what we're getting with this fascist regime. So we know we could have gotten and had our criticisms and said the things we were going to say with her, but with this man, we're just literally seeing him, brain rot on two legs happening in real time. So you could have just said that, but instead you decided to go and bash illegals. I did see the clips and stuff online. It's like these short little clips or whatever. So me telling you this should be enough. But if you want to search for it on social media, you'll find it. But I feel like this whole description is giving us enough of the information. So then they said, once she got done rambling, the music was noticeably much louder, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive that she was piping in fake crowd noises. You could tell it was an audio rather than authentic cheers because you can almost hear static coming with the noise. Anyway, screw her. And I think she was up there pulling a Peaches, meaning, and this is no shade to Peaches, because I understand when you do a smaller venue, you on a budget, you got to pretty much program your own beats. But I think that's literally what she was up there doing. She had a sheet behind her, literally like aluminum foil draped behind her, and she had this little machine that she was programming the beats, I guess, for her tracks, because she can't afford to bring people up there to actually do her music for her. So she got to do everything her damn self. So then they went and said she had to play Paper Planes quickly to close out her set. She played like 4 songs and called it Ha Ha. Now, when the booze became even louder, she tried to win the crowd back by saying, "I'm illegal, have my team, couldn't get a visa, blah blah blah." And then, look, her one hit was 2007's Paper Planes, and she said, "If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name." Well, apparently, you're gonna have to use that visa to take your ass back where the fuck you came from, because if you out here trying to be controversial like Kanye, you ever see Kanye out here getting his lashes. And I was ready to come up on here and say, Cudi, if you want to salvage what's left of this damn of whatever's left of this tour, you better get rid of her ass. Because, and I was ready to go in and let have on her. But look, I ain't have to, because apparently Kid Cudi decided to be like, okay, well, I've been hearing some things, you've been running off at your mouth, and now I'm just gonna have to, since you like Trump so much, let me channel Trump in this part. You're fired, bitch. So that's basically what he did. He gave her walking papers. So Kid Cudi has dropped M.I.A. from his Rebel Rangers tour that she made the offensive remarks. Now, they said M.I.A.'s Rants group drew criticism from fans who came to see Kid Cudi's tour, leading the rapper to announce Monday that M.I.A. had been dropped from the support slot for the remainder of the trek. And here's what he said. He said, tour update. M.I.A. is no longer on this tour. This is what he wrote on social media. I told my management to send a notice to her team before we started the tour that I didn't want anything offensive at my shows because I already knew what time it was. And I was assured things were understood. Well, apparently her dumb ass didn't get the memo, or she's so damn fucked up in the head that she ain't realized that she just can't help herself. You know how narcissists are. You know how the loonies are. They can't help themselves but sabotage their own situation. And I heard MI7 or whatever you want to call it. That album is ass. I don't know what she thought making that record. Now all of a sudden she want to go religious with the record. I'm like, the fuck is this shit? I listened to 3 songs and turned that mess off. Her and Azealia Banks, 2 people who had the potential to be given greatness with their artistry, delivered 2 of the worst albums of 2026. So don't even waste your time on Yuck Mouth with her damn record. That album is ass too. And so MIA, you done fucked up the bag. Somebody said she ain't been the same since her son got kidnapped. But I don't know. Argue with your therapist. Let them know how you deal and figure out how to do it. They got medications for whatever you're going through. But then he went on to continue by saying, after the last couple shows, I've been flooded with messages from fans that were upset by her rants. This to me is very disappointing, and I won't have someone on my tour making offensive remarks that upsets my fan base. Thank you for understanding, Rager. And that was what it was. I was like, well, is this the first time that I thought maybe this is the first time she's been saying it? But no, he said he's been getting it from the past couple of shows, which means that every night she's saying something crazy and controversial. Now, here's the thing. I'm supposed to be working Kid Cudi's show at the end of the month. And I was actually looking forward to the show because I was like, when I first sort of built, now let me take it back. Actually, I'm jumping ahead. I was on my way to work to the garden and I saw on a Jumbotron the big Kid Cudi advertisement. Then I saw M.I.A. name. I literally had to wipe my eyes and make sure I wasn't seeing things. I'm like, are you sure that you're gonna have this problematic bitch on your tour? And so I thought maybe she done found Jesus, maybe she cleaned up, maybe she been taking the meds. She ain't gonna come out here being crazy. Apparently, I was wrong because we seen the video footage and the stuff that she was saying had come out. It's all over TikTok and all the other social media platforms you want to check it. I'm sure it's all over Instagram and other places as well. But yeah, she done fucked up her bag. You stupid. And I'm glad that he was smart enough to remove her. But now I'm wondering, I'm like, who is he going to get to replace her? Because I'm sure that he doesn't want to just have Big Boy as the opening act. Quiet as it's kept, as much as I love Outkast, Big Boy ain't got enough songs by himself to be able to hold it down. So he may have to try to find another rapper. Maybe he can get Doshi to come out on a tour. I don't know. I mean, she did do the Emphasis Theater. That's our small theater within the garden. So maybe he'll find. I don't know if there's any other rappers out here that's maybe Snow the Product. I know she's about to go out on tour and all this other stuff, but maybe you can get her to come out and do the tour because she's an indie artist. I don't know who because like besides Tyler the Creator, the Kid Cudi tour is definitely something I was looking forward to because they're kind of like in the same wheelhouse with the type of style of music that they do. So I'm actually looking forward to this tour, but it'd be interesting to see who he does pick to replace M.I.A. because this bitch is problematic. Don't even think about Azealia Banks. She'd be worse. Now, oh yeah, so it was called MI7. I was like, it was what's called MI7? Yeah, that album is straight up ass. Don't even waste your time listening to that mess. And then they said that she has been candid about her polarizing politics in recent years from spreading misinformation. That's probably why she followed RFK Jr. She was out here spreading misinformation about the COVID vaccine and selling a line of anti-5G clothing via the Alex Jones show. Oh no, you was over there doing his show. That man is a fucking nuisance. To supporting Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. And then they said that the Rebel Rangers tour continues Wednesday in Atlanta, presumably with a new opener. Well, we'll find out sooner or later because look, this is enough time, right? Since this happened, a couple of days they've been off. They'll have to find out maybe they'll find somebody in the next couple of days who they can get to come out and tour. We've seen this happen before where people have been, removed from a tour or somebody had to drop out. They find somebody to come in real quick. But does that give them enough time to put a show together? That's the question. So it'll be interesting to see who they pick in the meantime. And shout out to you, Kid Cudi, and fuck you, M.I.A. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Once upon a time, I was a big fan of M.I.A.'s music, and it's just sad that this is where she got, like, she's been a pioneer in the type of DIY type of hip hop that she was doing with those crazy electronic beats that she was doing. I feel like in so many ways, like her style of music might have even accidentally birthed hyperpop because I do feel like that sound kind of plays into what she does. And I like those crazy Timbaland S type beats that she was doing with her music and then being, and incorporating politics into her stuff. That's before her mind went bad. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I said, ain't nobody going to see you, Otis. I mean, Nicole Trump support. Oh, you talking about Nicole Scherzinger? And you said Hillary Duff has LaRue opening for them. I mean, besides Bulletproof, y'all know any other LaRue songs? But that'll be cute to see. Look, at this point, she need to put Icona Pop on that opening act with her too. M.I.A. stay doing stupid shit. Why do they always go crazy? I don't know what's going on with their mind, but you know, Gen X is cooked. Because isn't M.I.A in her 50s? The M.I.A record is still probably the best female rapper. And she got a lot of she got a lot of really good songs and a lot of really good records. I know Paper Planes was like her biggest hit to cross over, but liked a lot of her music. I don't listen to her anymore, but back when I liked her, not Azealia Banks scrapping business and pleasure. I will never forgive her. I still listen to Azealia, M.I.A too. Well, you've been canceled. No, I'm kidding. You said, but he knew M.I.A was crazy as hell, so why he surprised? Yeah, but I guess maybe he thought, well, I guess maybe the controversy alone was going to help sell the tickets, but or maybe it wasn't his decision. No, that's a good question. So why did you put her on the tour in the first place, knowing how controversial she is and how problematic she's been? But maybe he was like, yeah, well, if y'all recommended her to me and she got a new album coming out and it's a label connection thing, because sometimes it's it's not up to the artist or whatever to have control who they want to put out on tour. It's usually a label thing. And maybe he was like, no, this lady is gonna sabotage, what we got going on over here. Like I'm literally out here touring, making money. She keeps saying dumb shit. It's gonna affect my bottom line, which is the coins. And y'all want to make money, right? So he probably had to come to the label and everybody and Live Nation with a real presentable reason as to why we got to get rid of her. And they were just like, okay, because I'm like, look, you're going to see people canceling their tickets. He said no 5G and yet. A couple songs I bootleg, so no coins from me. Mhm. All right. So I guess we can go from one dumbass to another. Hold on, because I just realized I had a lot of windows open that I didn't close. So yeah, so I guess excuse me. I guess we can go from one dumbass artist to another. So let's go from M.I.A losing her damn job in her mind to Nick Cannon saying some dumbass story, another dumbass comment. So Nick Cannon recently did a podcast, I guess, with TMZ, and he recently came out and said that yes, he has a double standard when it comes to his twins, rock and roll. The twins that he has with Mariah. Because they go back like babies and pacifiers. Old Dirk Dog, no liar. So yeah. So let's get into the double standardness of this moron. So he's drawing attention for outlining different dating rules for his 15-year-old twins, according to the comments he made on the TMZ podcast. So the 45-year-old personality, who celebrated his eldest children turning 1 year older last month, offered his candid thoughts on the topic during Saturday's episode of the TMZ podcast. Now, Nick shares Moroccan and Monroe, 15, with ex-wife Mariah Carey, whom he was married to from 2008 until their divorce in 2016. The conversation began as a star revealed that his son Moroccan has started to date, but his twin sister is not allowed to do the same. Excuse me, saying, my son has been dating and I've allowed it. He revealed to podcast host Tawanda Robinson before adding that he has encouraged it. However, when questioned if his eldest daughter is being given the same opportunity, Nick admitted no, absolutely not. Now, the media personality then shared that he understands it is absolutely a double standard. He explained that there is a difference when parenting a son and when parenting a daughter. He says, I am more protective of my daughter because there's things out there that I have to protect my daughter from. Well, I guess he's talking about himself because you are the man that should be the last type of man that Monroe out here dating because you've proven, oh yeah, I'm gonna just run up in a bunch of broads and have 12 children and try to perpetuate. Because the one thing about Nick Cannon always comes off so damn goofy, trying to be like this alpha male type. And there's a lot of that in the bro sphere. And he definitely gives that with a lot of his approach in this whole situation. So yeah, he said Like, as we know, there's certain types of individuals that you want to keep your daughter away from. My son, it's a different conversation when he's going out into the dating world. The star then added, it is his worst nightmare for someone to hurt his daughter. Well, you have multiple daughters, not just her, but I guess this is the oldest one, and you're having to deal with crossing that bridge of she's almost crossing over into adulthood because she's 15. She's probably got 2 more years before they graduate high school, and you're gearing them up for college and going out there and preparing them for the real world. But I would say that if you're preparing your child for how the world is, male and female, you should be giving them that. I'm not saying that boys and girls are equal because they're not, but if you're teaching your daughter to be a respectable girl and what not to tolerate and put up with from men, because remember, Mariah is that the way she presents herself is sort of like, I'm not a floozy. I don't go around sleeping with Tom, Dick, and Harry. And I'm sure that that same way that she presents herself around men, she's put that on Monroe. And I'm sure that the son, Rock, because they're going Rock and Roll, I'm sure you're teaching him to be an upstanding gentleman and not being disrespectful and taking advantage of women, then that's not an issue you got to deal with either. That as long as you teach your kids to be upstanding citizens, that should be all that matters and respectable or respectful. So the star, they said, but if someone puts their hands on my daughter, I'm going to jail. I'm doing 25 to life if somebody put their hands on my daughter. What does that have to do with the fact of her dating, though? Because you're automatically jumping into a guy going to hit your daughter or abuse her. Child, this ain't no damn Lifetime movie of the week. She just want to go out on a date. But yeah, you put the fear of God up in that. But let's take it back to the look, Nick, you ain't that damn old. You 45 years old. Take it back to the days when we was growing up. When the fathers would have that talk. When if okay, prom, you bring in the girl, the daughter bringing the son in, if there were fathers in the picture. I don't know. I had both my parents, so I'll speak on that. When you have situations where it's like the guy meets the father of the daughter, you put the fear of God in that motherfucker. If you lay one hand on my child, I'm going to jail. I will kill you when I see you. So don't play with me. And there's that situation. Once you lay down the foundation and you lay the fear of God up in that man or that boy about to be a man, then we get to that position. But yeah, we know that there's a bunch like there's girls out here who don't have the luxury of having a father in their picture who could be a protector and a provider. I grew up in a two-family household, so I understand that I'm one of the lucky ones. But I do have friends who weren't so lucky. So I don't understand why he had to bring up like the father. Oh yeah, I just saw somebody sent me this thing about Dolly Parton. Yeah, I know. I did that story on my website. I just didn't cover it here. But about Dolly canceling the residency. But anyway, let's get into this situation. So now when Robinson asked if he was worried about gold diggers approaching Moroccan, Cannon answered that he was not. He said, no, he got a whole lot of money. His mom's Mariah Carey. The Masked Singer host said. Now, Cannon was also asked when Monroe can date, if her twin brother is already out in the dating world. Now, following a brief pause, the star explained that both he and his oldest daughter have made a deal in regards to her dating. Now, this was the part when he said this mess, it sounded like a whole lot of stupidity. And it made me like, what? He said if she could explain to me when what's going to happen on these dates, then she can go. Did you give birth to did you and Mariah have birth or give birth to Raven Baxter? I can't even say her damn name. Raven Simone over there on that show. That's so Raven. She can't see in the damn future. So how's she gonna tell you what's gonna happen on the date? So I gotta give you a play by play. We haven't gone on the date yet. We're gonna go to the movies. We're gonna watch a movie. We're gonna go get something to eat. Then we're gonna hold hands. Then we're gonna walk down the street listening to whatever music's playing in the background as we're walking down the street, taking the wind in our hair. Like, what the fuck? Like, this sounds dumb. And did you ask Barack in this? Or are you expecting this whole thing that a lot of men do, which is, oh, if you hook up and you lose your virginity, oh yeah, high five and all that other stuff. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop celebrating pushing sex on children because you was a fast ass growing up. Then he also joked that her twin brother can tag along on his sister's dates. Then they said, but you ain't going one on one with no little bitch. Oh, you said with no little bastard anywhere, the star said before adding that he is preparing her for college. I know it's out of my control. I can't do nothing about it. Hopefully, we're having all these open conversations. My daughter tells me any and everything that you know of, because daughters ain't telling everything and anything. You thinking that she's telling you stuff, but she probably telling you just enough so that when you can lay off her with the other stuff. And this is the messed up part because if kids can't be open, upfront, and honest, and you playing this whole double standard thing, this is exactly why girls go around sneaking behind their daddy back. Or 9 times out of 10, you see these PKs, preacher kids, who be fast in the ass over these other girls who are very much open and upfront about sex and dating and that sort of thing. When you start putting all these little negatives in their head, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, makes them more curious, makes them more looking into seeing what more they're gonna do, and they'll do it behind your back. And you don't want it to get to that point, but it might be hard for her because you got these nosy ass tabloid people out here that be all up in, situations wanting to see what celebrity kids is doing, and they'll be ready to report on it. And they got the pressure because with Mariah Carey having such a reputation about herself and a certain demureness, excuse me, a lot of the stuff won't be able to, it's probably going to be hard for them to be their individual selves. And so, yeah, now she's going to have to wait to get to college to be able to carry. Then that's probably what's going to happen. And then you really going to be shitting bricks because you ain't going to know what's going to happen. But just like I said, at the end of the day, you got to hope and pray that the way you teach your kids, that you taught them enough that can go out in the world and make the right decisions about themselves. Oh, in that situation. So, social media users, of course, jumped over on the Twitter to share differing thoughts on his comments, with one saying, I understand and parenting a teenage boy is entirely different than a teenage girl. Another type, why is this weird? This is like 99% of parents. Well, that number's a little too high because it's not 99% of the parents. But a fan added, no, you could be protective of both of them. And that's why I said, it's like, you shouldn't only be like, well, the boy got it, and then you overly protective of the girl. Boys need guidance and stuff too. That's why we have a whole situation of these groypers and stuff going around that's being raised, excuse me, by the Nick Fuenteses and the Looks Maxers and all these other people out here. They have no real guidance because you have parents out here who's not willing to lay down the work and teach their kids. So another person said, nope, he absolutely right on that, and I'm the exact way. Well, good for you. And one shared, I don't know why people are shocked. Most dads don't want to imagine their daughters dating. Excuse me, dating. Look at every sitcom dad. Well, here's the thing: there's sitcoms and there's the real world, and y'all need to stop trying to model y'all the way y'all raise y'all kids after Bill goddamn Cosby, especially when if we want to go into Bill Cosby's personal life, who he really ended up being. He and Trump got a lot more in common than you realize. Now, another fan said, a lot of parents are more protective with daughters because they worry about different risks, especially at that age. Another person said, literally makes no sense. And one added, who is Moroccan? A 50-year-old boy taking on a date. Definitely someone his age or lower. So why not let another boy, same age, to Monroe, or I think they meant to say take Monroe out too. Now, then they were talking about how Nick Cannon joined his eldest children for a fun night out at Six Flags, blah, 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 so forth. We don't need to know all of that. And look, let's not also forget Monroe, or Ro Cannon, as she goes by, went on her IG and her stories and posted the following. She said, clearing something up, guys. I only have one brother who is at Moroccan.Cannon. I do have other half siblings from my dad, but they are all many, many years younger than me. So there was a whole situation where people were coming out saying that with something when she said, I only got one brother. It was like, yeah, I got half siblings, but they're not my siblings. So it's like she's not even including all of them as like being her pure blood family members. They just a bunch of kids that my daddy had because he couldn't keep his damn dick in his pants. So that's what she want to say, but she can't say it because maybe she, the frontal lobe ain't developed and she can't articulate that. But she said what she said, and she said Moroccan is her brother. The rest are her half siblings. Now, if people feeling the way about it, oh well, argue with your mammy or your mammies and argue with Nick, who got to sit and figure all that mess out because he wanted to create himself a little harem of baby mamas because he ain't married none of them. So, but like I said, child, there ain't no way that girl gonna be able to predict to you what has happened with her and all. I mean, like how she gonna go out on this date and all this other stuff. She ain't Raven Baxter. She ain't Miss Cleo. She can't predict the future. It's just if they're gonna go out on a date, let her go out on a date with a respectable gentleman. The reality is that I say this, I truly feel like that he just don't want Monroe to end up with a man like him because the way that he been acting out in these streets. He probably ain't a good representation of being a man. I'm not gonna say a father because I don't know how he raised his kids, but the way you've been presenting yourself as a man out here and how you've been going around laying low and spreading around and having all these different kids with all these different women and your twins being aware of that because they were the first kids you had, period, with Mariah. That's probably what all of this stems from. So you can sit up there, your little goofy ass can sit up there and pretend that channeling Joe Jackson with this whole situation regarding your kids. But like I said, I just feel like you just afraid that Monroe gonna end up with a man like you. And for all our sakes, I hope she don't. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Nick Cannon is saying about his children? Do you feel that it is a double standard in the way that he's raising his twins, where he's saying that Rock can go out and date as fluent as he wants, and I ain't got to worry about him? I guess because he's saying because boys are simple, but when it comes to his daughter, he's overprotective, and I don't mind you being overprotective, but I just don't like double standards when it comes to well, you can because you have a dick, but you can't because you got a coochie. It's just stupid to me. Raise your kids to be upstanding citizens on both genders. How about that? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Child, we are 3 hours in because it was like we had a lot going on in this show today. hmm Yeah, I saw that earlier. Dolly is a true Capricorn. Her and Mary J. Blige gonna work today day. And don't Mary have don't she have a residency coming? So other little girls that aren't your children don't deserve the same consideration and protection. And you said Child Monroe isn't worried about his authority. I bet Mimi is the check and balances. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, Child, quiet as it's kept. You know Mariah run that damn house and run the show. Nick gotta, put on a show because he's on his podcast and he can't be out here looking like no damn simp. That little boy looks like Mariah and Nick. Lord, that Mariah jaw and hair with Nick's beady little eyes. Yeah, because you wouldn't even know. If anything, you would think that Nick is the stepfather because them kids is too damn bright. But that's Mariah complexion coming out. That perspective isn't uncommon, but it's flawed nonetheless. Absolutely, it is common, but it's flawed. So nail hit on head. I think Nick is protecting the guilt of his bouncing between baby mamas, projecting the guilt of his bouncing between baby mamas onto his daughter. So he's putting more responsibility while dating on her to not end up like, absolutely. I was like, but you created the monster, sir. You the one that put this out here. You laid this foundation. You put all of this out here in the ether. And this is what rock and roll are looking at. So if you would have led by example as a grown ass man instead of trying to be out here because you want to be fruitful and multiply, and of course people gonna say, but the Bible said, fuck that book of fairy tales. We ain't talking about that. We talking about the fact that you presented this bullshit situation regarding relationships and now you mad because you worrying about your child ending up, one of your daughter ending up like these women that you out here screwing. But like I said, if you have a great foundation of parents who teach you the right way of doing things, then you ain't got to worry about your child out here being a silly hoe. Hey, Chili, you said clearly she's going to favor her twin brother than the siblings you created out, and of course because they're way younger, she don't really know them like that, and it's been her and her twin. So with them two being together from the time they was up in Mariah and they were birthed, yeah, she gonna side with her brother. That's all she knows, and she. So I love being child free. You and me both. Even though I did raise a 26-year-old. You said someone who's now 26. He said, "Damn, not book a fairy tale." Don't even get me started on that Bible. Anyway, y'all. Oh, how many more topics we got? Um, I forgot to do my little thingamabob. We got 2 more topics, y'all. Oh my God, I just realized I have my YouTube channel open. So yeah, we down to our final 2 topics because I forgot I did create the little lower third of other 2 topics that we did before we got to this one. But anyway, we down to our final 2 topics. So if you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get into some Britney news. So Britney, it looks like they reached a settlement in this whole situation. She decided to plead guilty. In this whole DUI situation, which we did allude to over the weekend before, this whole situation actually came to fruition. And now that it is out here in these good old streets, now we can all put this behind us, like that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation. So Britney Spears has sidestepped any jail time in her DUI case after pleading guilty to a lesser misdemeanor charge of wet reckless through her attorney. The pop star, who did not appear in court for her arraignment, well, they said she didn't have to appear in court in this whole situation, so I figured she wouldn't be there. In Ventura County on Monday, was charged last week with a misdemeanor um, count of driving under the influence. The resolution came 2 months after Spears was arrested and voluntarily checked herself in a treatment facility. Saying she's doing well, her lawyer, Michael A. Goldstein, tells Rolling Stone. It was reduced. The DUI was dismissed. She entered a plea to reckless driving. Asked if his client was pleased with the outcome, she said, "I don't think anybody is happy about pleading guilty." I mean, child, I've had to plead guilty for a misdemeanor before. Now, let me get out the way. Let me do the community service. Let me pay my fine and go about my merry way. So he said, "I don't think anybody is happy about pleading guilty, but under the circumstances, it was a good outcome. We appreciate the district attorney recognizing the positive steps Brittany has taken to help herself, and we expect that she'll continue to do so," Goldstein said after the arraignment. And this is what he told the reporters. Now, Spears was sentenced to 12 months of summary. All of a sudden, I can't read today. Let's go over that again. Spears was sentenced to 12 months of summary probation. The judge ordered her to submit to searches requested by law enforcement when she is behind the wheel. Well, girl, you better not get behind that wheel ever again, because every time if somebody see you on the road and they pull your ass over, they have the authority to just search your vehicle. You want to have to deal with that. Just get you a driver and just sit on the passenger side of your best friend's ride, so some niggas can holler at you. So now, they said the judge ordered her to submit 2 searches requested by law enforcement when she is behind the wheel. Prosecutors had sought a broader condition requiring submission to any requested searches for drugs and alcohol, but Goldstein objected. The judge limited the requirement to searches requested when Spears is in her vehicle only. Well, that's why I said, girl, don't ever get in that vehicle. Just sit on the passenger side. Now, the judge also barred Spears from using or possessing any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Because remember, she was walking around with Adderall, which I told y'all she was always flying. Well, not even, probably not. Was she flying? She could just cross the damn border from California. She was over there going to Mexico, always in Mexico, getting her Adderall. And the next thing you know, you be seeing her in them damn baby panties made by Gerber, twirling in that foyer with the runny mascara and something weird going on. So yeah, apparently that's what allegedly she was going over there for. So um he ordered her to continue her mental health and substance treatment, requiring weekly meetings with her psychologist and twice monthly visits with her psychiatrist. She must also complete a 3-month DUI class. This is very reasonable because we were saying for the longest that Britney definitely needs somebody to give her structure in regards of like a therapist, whatever the case is. I'm glad they're requiring her to do a psychologist and a psychiatrist. And she's got to take a drug class. So I like all of this is being put in place because she wasn't getting the help that she needed. And we clearly were seeing that she was going through some stuff. But then, of course, you get her damn delusional ass fans who are, oh, y'all picking her, the brands, the media, the same ones that be out here, all of Michael Jackson ass. It's like all y'all stands are exactly alike in y'all hive mind. If you see somebody who's going through some ish and looks a hot ass mess, we need to help them and stop making excuses because you thinking people picking on them. Because if her ass end up dead from an OD, I don't want to hear shit from y'all because we was kept saying this girl got a problem, something's going on with her, but y'all kept trying to ignore it. Hashtag free Britney and all that mess. There's people out here like when I say something, it's genuine concern. Yeah, I will throw some shade and some reads up in there because that's just my nature to say some stuff along with the facts. I gotta throw in I gotta throw the daggers. Like she like dancing with them, I gotta throw them. And so, but everything I say is out of genuine concern. It may be shocking for some of y'all to think that, but if you actually knew my person, like how I am, that is my personality. So, I was like, where was I? I don't know if I read this part, but if I did, I'm gonna read it over again. So they said one of the key components to the disposition this morning was to make sure Miss Spears continued to undergo her mental health and substance abuse treatment regimen. We are wholly in support of her doing so. This is what Ventura County District Attorney Eric Nazarenko said after her hearing. Now, excuse me, Nazarenko also emphasized the search condition as a central part of the agreement. Ms. Spears will have a diminished expectation of privacy in her car. If she is stopped by a peace officer, she will have to submit to a test for the presence of alcohol and drugs. Excuse me, and her vehicle can be searched for the presence of alcohol and drugs, and she cannot drive in any intoxicant with any intoxicant in her body. He further pointed out that Spears went reckless. Wet reckless is priorable, meaning that if she's convicted of a subsequent DUI in the next 10 years, damn, it will count as a second DUI. For now, Spears has demonstrated she was taking responsibility. He said so his office decided to give her a second chance. Yeah, when she did the whole rehab situation. Now, when somebody ahead of their plea voluntarily decides to admit themselves into a rehabilitation facility, that demonstrates to us that they have a sincere interest in getting better. If they are better, our roadways are safer, our freeways are not burdened with individuals who have alcohol and drugs in their system. Now, Spears, well, we don't need to get into the whole thing about why she was pulled and arrested. We know all of that by now. So, I love the fact that she's taking the precautions and everything. But like I said, girl, you got enough money. You already sold your catalog. Just take this time to use this time as a way to get better mentally and not get yourself in a position where you're going to go to jail. Because I know like the reason why you did all this. Let me go to I mean, it was probably her team that told her, you know, what look good on this situation, voluntarily going to rehab. This case is coming up. Maybe they'll look at this as, oh, she's putting in the work, which is all the things I said. And it's funny how they're saying it in this. 'Cause I know people. I may not know how legal stuff and the law per se, but I know people. I know body language. I know I'm very good at analyzing human beings and figuring out why people do the things they do. And I knew that from the moment she decided, let me go and immediately jump into rehab, and this will probably look good on my record, and they'll see, like, you know what? Let's give her a second chance. Let's plead her down to this whole wet, whatever they're calling it. to this little wet charge, whatever the hell is the actual specificities of it. And let's just go with that. And I'm glad they finally did it. But now you got to do the work. So now for the next 10 years, they said they're going can't do whatever you're doing. So now they'll count it as a second DUI. And and they were saying like Rob Shutter put did a story on his Substack that was like, even though we kind of could tell by how fragile she is, Britney went out bode well in prison. So let this be a lesson learned. This is the universe giving you the warning, and if you don't take the hint, then the real the real gauntlet is gonna come down on you, and you ain't gonna like the outcome because sis, they eat girls like you for lunch in prison, and you don't want to end up with some 300-pound bitch with cornrows that look like Queen Latifah and set it off, and her name is Tiny. So I say all this to say, and as your roommate or your bedmate in the prison. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Britney pleading guilty to a reduced charge after the whole DUI arrest situation? I think it was smart on her part to actually have to do this. Like I said before, and like the attorney said, nobody wants to plead guilty to anything, but you do it so that way you don't have to do jail time. So sis, I can relate to you on that because once upon a time I had to plead guilty after I did a little assault situation on somebody. Not SA. It was the hands. I, damaging their property and beating their ass. So there was that. Got locked up. Had to spend the weekend in prison because the worst time you want to get arrested is on the damn weekend because you don't see the judge until Monday morning. And that was me. Then I pled guilty. Had me a little attorney. Paid my $500 fine. And did my 3 days, I think it was 3 days of community service. Did my community service. I think because was on good behavior, they cut my community service by 1 day. So I did 2 days. And that was that. Had to clean the park in Manhattan. I think it was the one on 14th Street over there by the Red Rooster. So, or 2nd Avenue. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Child, Chris did a misdemeanor. What happened? I could see you cut. Well, no, it was a fight situation because one of my friends pissed me off because the way he was acting around certain faggots up in the club, and I had too much to drink. He pissed me off. I bust the windows out his car. Yeah, I was channeling Jasmine Sullivan. Then we ended up getting into a fight. One of my friends was like, one of my friends who was feeling the way I was feeling. I guess I got riled up, and I was the only one that was willing to do something about the situation. And I ran, went to the damn train station. Cops caught me at the train station, got arrested. Then they put him in the back seat of the car. It was like, I guess he had to identify that it was me, let him know it was me. And then because he knew me, he had to call my parents and tell them Chris is in jail. And then, yeah, so that's what had happened. And then I wound up in jail till Monday. So that was that story. That was like, but I was in my 20s. Nobody is happy with the Met Gala. No major superstar, and it's boring. Like I said, Superstars was told to avoid it because it's MAGA coded. And they listened. Jeff Bezos ruined Met Gala. But we all know nobody wants Dr. Evil up in here running shit. Britney should take accountability while getting help. I feel like anytime someone like us say she's out of line, we are called fake fans or haters. Well, first, that's why I said it was like, look, and when you say that when one of us says she out of line, we're called fake fans. No, I feel like the fans who say that are the fake fans. If you was a real fan, you would call your fave out on their shit. That was one of the things about me is that I was gonna be one of those people that if somebody who I like steps out of line, we're gonna call it out. I've done it with Madonna, and I live for her. But when she do something stupid and out of pocket, I call her out. Real people do that. I do it with my friends, and I expect them to do it with me too. And yeah, I'll be mad, but I thank them for it at the end of the day. So I don't feel like you're a real fan. You an enabler at this point. I have 6 nieces and nephews. That's enough kids in my life. Look, that's always a good thing. Like if you have siblings, with and they put and look, I was like, if you have siblings who have kids, then that kind of lets you off the hook. So it's like, oh yeah, we can still pass down the line. I just don't have to do the work. The problem with my family situation is me, my brother and sister, none of us have kids. I need one of y'all to pump out a child because I'm not doing it. Not you say I knew it. I knew you would whoop something. Mm-mm. Well, look, and the funny part was they put me on the alternative lifestyle side of the prison. Yeah, they got me at the when I was trying to go and get on the train, and I was training in Manhattan. I wasn't trying to do all that. You said, mm-hmm. You said Bay and Madonna set Ricardo up with Frank Ocean. That's how we got blonde. He tore Ricardo ass up. As in they for or they fuck. Cause remember, Ricardo. I mean, not Ricardo. Didn't Frank Ocean date Omar Apollo? Whatever happened to him? Yeah, Omar. What's going on with you? But anyway, all right, y'all. So now let's move on to our final topic. And let's talk about Róisín Murphy. So yeah, Miss Thing is out here whining and complaining because she's been, you know, blacklisted over her controversial comments regarding puberty blockers on trans teens. She ain't the only one that was out here saying something dumb. I saw that there was a recent thing with Bill Maher talking about kids and transgenderism and all the other mess. He's talking about, well, yeah, we're gonna get JD Vance for president because this is your thought. I think it was David Cross was on his tight ass podcast and he was talking about trans kids on like how his children, I guess, have a friend who's trans, whatever, and then he starts with this bullshit. And I'm sitting there like, Bill, your smug, ugly ass. Number one, how you gonna speak on kids? You don't even like kids. You don't have any kids. So unless you have kids and you've been around kids, you understand trans children and this, that, and the other. Stop talking about it. Number two, the only way we're getting JD Vance as president is if Trump passes away. Nobody's gonna vote for that asshole blank slate of nothing because there's literally nothing behind those eyes or even in that he doesn't have a soul. Nobody's voting for JD Vance as president. He's immensely unpopular. So Bill, you're an idiot. And who doesn't know what he's talking about? And then went on this little rant about, well, I mean, because cancellation, and it does relate to this, because he was saying, like, oh, he's kind of been canceled, whatever the case is, because he hasn't won an Emmy and he's deserved Emmys. I'm like, what any kind of work have you done on real time, even politically incorrect, that you deserve a damn Emmy? I'll wait, because none of the work you're doing is worth any of the shoe polish I would put on my damn shoe. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But in this whole situation, here we go with another damn snowflake who says something incorrect and ignorant about trans kids, and now is up in here whining because they said they feel like they've been canceled. Which is like nobody put a gun to your head and told you to say what you said. But you said what you said, and what you said was some bullshit. And now what you need to do is sit with what you said and deal with the consequences. So this will be the second time that the Blessed Madonna had to go in and let have. The Blessed Madonna, for those who don't know who she is, she's a very popular, I believe she's a lesbian. But she's also a very popular DJ and producer. So let's get into the story. So Irish singer, songwriter, and producer Róisín Murphy has opened up about the fallout from her controversial comments on puberty blockers, saying the backlash left her feeling professionally and personally isolated. But I thought she stood 10 toes down on what she said, and she didn't care about the backlash and the outcome, which we knew was some bullshit. Because eventually, when it continues to fuck up your bag, then you want to backpedal. Now, speaking at a Westminster event on Monday, that'd be April 27th, she described how quickly opportunities disappeared after her 2023 remarks, claiming venues dropping bookings, collaborators distancing themselves, and pressure mounted on for her to apologize. As she said, Being canceled is hard, she said. The world goes very dark very quickly. Everyone and anyone who is ever going to disappoint you does so all at once. Networks of interwoven friendships and careers that took years to grow collapse overnight. All the hypocrisy, frailty, and hidden disloyalty gets exposed at once. It's bewildering and it's a bitter pill. So now she's sitting there talking about that everybody who decided to go against what she said about trans children and puberty blockers, she's calling all of y'all hypocrites because y'all decided to abandon her over her ignorant comments. But sis, you're jumping into a genre of music that is predominantly supported by queer people. When you're a dance artist who does all this performance art shit with the crazy outfits and stuff, which Gaga is very similar to how she dresses with the big crazy hats and all the other crazy outfits that Róisín is known for. And Róisín did do a lot of avant-garde type of electronic music, which is what we loved her for. But it also comes to show that maybe you were just trying to pander to this genre of people for a coin. Was you really about that life? That's to be determined. Because we know when she originally came from this trip hop group called Maloko. That's where I knew her from before she went solo. Look, I know my music, especially when I tell you I'm a house head. So that whole genre of music, I know where all the I know all the backgrounds and all other stuff. So I am a Róisín fan. Well, I was, because now when her music does come on my Apple Music, when I'm listening to my dance music or whatever the case is, and Overpowered comes on every now and then, I can't listen to the song. I skip right on. I can't listen to her no more because of this whole situation. So yeah, her opinions about a community that I'm a part of, even though there be a lot of you faggots that like to omit the T from the LGBT, I can't listen to her music the same way anymore. Now, she argued that artists who speak on radioactive issues are often met with condemnation rather than debate, and criticized what she described as online social media enforcers shaping public relations. Well, here's the thing: people try to have an honest, debatable conversation with you, and you stood 10 toes down in your ignorance. And to me, I'm always willing when somebody says something wrong to be like, no, that's not what this is, and present you with the facts. But you kept coming in with your bullshit. And if you're going to come in with that, then there's no talking to you. I'm not talking to a brick wall. I'm not going to constantly be hitting the brick wall to get through to you because you feel like you deserve transparency, which everybody does. But if you're not willing to listen and learn, then I ain't got time to be sitting up here dealing with your shit. I'm done. Like, gone are the days that I'm gonna sit here and coddle and baby ignorant ass people. MAGA done fucked that up with this whole situation where y'all don't want to sit and listen because it's easy to just wallow in your ignorance and say the dumbest shit and think that it's just okay to say it. You have the right to say your ignorant stuff, but I also have the right to call you out on the ignorant things that you say and correct you on your ignorance. You're not beyond reproach. Nobody is. So Murphy first, as you know, sparked backlash after criticizing the use of puberty blockers on young people in a 2023 Facebook post, saying puberty blockers are fucking absolutely desolate. Big Pharma laughing all the way to the bank. Little mixed up kids are vulnerable and need to be protected. That's just true. Because that was the same thing David Cross was talking about. It's like, um, when Bill Maher was trying to present this whole thing of like kids don't know who they are, kids don't know how they whether or not they're trans at this age or whatever the case is. But he's like, but you knew that you like girls at a certain age, and then he goes, but that's different. But how is that different though? You identify as a heterosexual male. You already know that I'm a boy. I have a dick. I know that what I am is who I am. I don't want to change a part of who I am, and I like this gender. Same thing with gays. Gays wake up, they know they was attracted to a boy, don't have a phrase or something to go along. But I say with my generation, now there's social media and all this other stuff, they're aware of all the things. And then he was just trying to go in on David Cross and was saying, like, well, like in a way, making parents feel like they shouldn't be honoring and respecting how their kids want to identify. And he's saying that no, that's what they're doing. Is like if a child wants to, at this point, identify as a girl or wants to play with a doll or whatever the case is, why not respect that? Toys are toys. So you thinking that a boy automatically should play with Transformers and GI Joes? Well, you're just gonna make a mess out of him. Play with my sister's Barbies, and I played with Transformers and the He-Man and had the Castle Grayskull and all that stuff. I play with all the toys, and yeah, I used to beat up my sister's dolls and throw them out the window and do all that stuff when I was a kid. I did all the boy thing, but I like playing with my sister's dolls as well. And I used to get lashings on it, not beat, but like verbal lashings was like, boys are not supposed to play with that stuff. And then that automatically indoctrinates in your head that playing with anything feminine is wrong, that boys are supposed to just stick with this and girls are supposed to do this, and you're putting rules on things. There shouldn't be rules in regards of people trying to figure out who they are and just toys. They're toys. The fuck? So I don't understand people sometimes. But now she's trying to say, like, yeah, big pharma, they're taking advantage of kids because all y'all doing is sitting there putting your kids on all these drugs. Big pharma's making all this money, and your kids don't know who the hell they are, and you shouldn't be honoring puberty blockers. But my thing is, y'all want y'all daughters to be out here looking like and sounding like Caitlyn Jenner, where they 70-some years old when they transition and got a whole man voice. You want to nip that in the bud early so that way they're not developing all the boy stuff where you got to spend more money on trying to correct that. What it comes down to eventually down the line, if you want to do the bottom surgery, because people automatically think when you trans, snip on the dick or whatever. Why is that automatically the thing y'all want to run to? Gender reassignment is the last choice that trans people make. At first, you got to deal with up here before you start working down here. I've been around enough trans people and working with trans people at ACQC in Queens when it was dealing with people who are affected and infected with HIV and AIDS. We also had different things that was going on. We had groups for the homosexuals, and we had trans groups. We had all kinds of stuff. So working with different people, a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, you get these type of educations. And I just wish that people would educate themselves on these type of matters before they run off and start saying a whole bunch of bullshit on social media, like she did. And then got mad because people decided they wanted to distance themselves from her. So, and then again, she went on, they said last October reignited the controversy by sharing a chart showcasing data from Tufts University Cooperative Election Study, which portrayed a decline of young people identifying as non binary or trans, saying it was never real. Terribly sad, though. Absolute havoc wreaked on children, families, and society. And of course, what she didn't want to point out was that a lot of this was happening because, well, one, in America, you're dealing with the Trump administration who has decided to go and make cracking down on trans people or people who identify as part of the trans or non-binary community a top priority. They were also trying to emulate a lot of those things over there in the UK. So she's not going to tell you that part, but she's going to show you a chart and a poll, because the only poll I believe in is the one strippers like to slide up and down on. I don't sit them and go by a bunch of damn polls on no damn social media, because a lot of the data is flawed. And you're not, and who are these people that they're polling? So they don't be polling me. And I've been seeing all kinds of polls that be going on in the United States of America. They ain't never polled my ass. So what poll you told? So because it fits your narrative, this is what she's gonna go on. So this is literally like I said before. You're trying to have this debate. She's standing 10 toes down on the bullshit and trying to push propaganda that is not accurate. So yes, the reason why that the numbers are going down, and you're saying that trans isn't real, when I know plenty of trans people. I'm around a lot of trans. I work with somebody who's trans. And then there's another person I've seen that walks around. I don't know how they identify, maybe non-binary, but it's a person that literally looks physically like a boy, but he wears his heels, he wears the dress, he wears all of that, earrings and everything, but giving you boy. But I'm like, and we're respectful of who we see in these situations. So that's the good thing about New York. We are accepting of all types of people here. Yeah, you have your ignorant people, but for the most part, we respect people here. Well, I do. Now, of course, I had to lay all that down because I know it was a lot, and I'm always going to have something to say in regards to this. But now we can get to the part about the blessed Madonna that had to drag her ass yet again. So now it didn't take long For queer DJ and producer to bless Madonna to publicly call out Róisín Murphy after the singer described herself as being canceled over her past comments about transgender people. Ooh, excuse me. So now they said, okay, so we don't need to go into the whole Westminster event because we already addressed that already. Let's just get to what the Blessed Madonna had to say. So now the DJ also highlighted the disconnect between um Murphy's past ties to queer culture and her current rhetoric, referencing Murphy's admiration for 1990s ballroom documentary, Paris is Burning, while the Blessed Madonna noted Murphy had called a deeply formative creative influence for herself. Now, the Blessed Madonna continued with, you said once in an interview that anytime you want to feel famous, you just go to a gay club. This, in and of itself, should have been a warning flare that your relationship with the queer community was less like an icon and more like a mosquito. So which basically is saying is that you just wanted, to get some kind of credibility or some clout or whatever the case is. You decided to just jump into the whole gay bandwagon just so that way that you can get some kind of money, success, fame, and glamour. But now that you've already pissed off the one demographic that was actually supporting your dumb ass, now you want to be out here whining and crying and talking about how you being you've been ostracized by the community. Well, sis, you made your bed, now lie in it. If you're gonna go and harass and throw shade at the queer community, you don't deserve none of our coins. And I wish there would be more of us like that, where we're not just gonna sit up here and tolerate people like her for just jumping in our situation for a sense of clout, but don't really be out here for us. Because how long we've been saying this for years, that we continue to support these so-called allies, but they don't really be seeing it for us at the end of the day. If you pay real close attention, they will show you their true damn colors. And Miss Róisín, her Irish ass showed all of her colors. And as pale as she is, that ass is red. And it's going to continue to get that lashing until she learned to truly apologize for the ignorant bullshit that she's saying. Instead, she want to be out here like a goddamn Karen and whine and cry that she's just been blacklisted by the only community that was supporting her. So I don't know what you need to do. Sell off your shit or go get a job as a receptionist somewhere. Because the music career ain't nobody checking for your ass no more, especially the faggots. So let me say, I want to hear from you in regards to what you got to say on this. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Like you said, Bring Your Love was the most added song on US Hot AC radio. So Warner knew it's not a Hot 100 issue. We're going to push it for radio. Well, yeah. And with Sabrina being a part of, Young and everything, they could use Sabrina as a way to push the song to radio. Because, yeah, radio is very ageist. They don't see her for older artists. And so now she's got to pull this. I mean, even though their voices complement each other, she's got to resort to this in order for people to pay attention to her music. Tichi was fiending for Frank on the grant. Oh, he got allegations too. Frank was alleged to be with another brown ting that's a boxer, but supposedly that's over to. Oh yeah, I heard about that. That he was dating some boxer. I forgot his name though. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you seen when him was rubbing up all upon what's her name? Erica Kurt. Wait until after this administration is out on its ass and they're all in prison, then divorce them. Didn't Bill date super hit, if you want to call it that. But yeah, he's and funny enough, he thought by dating black women that gave him authority to say nigga. And then they had to correct his ass real quick. You know who got him together on that? Ice Cube had to get his ass together. Even on his own show, he did it. I remember that episode. They said, yeah, some gays are biphobic and transphobic. Absolutely. And I'd be the first one to call that shit out. And he said, do they not know puberty blockers are also helpful for kids with cancer? No, she don't, because all she worrying about is kids transition. Bitch, worry about your own fucking kids. They said she became the J.K. Rowling of music. Madonna is Spotify's top debut song globally on Spotify and number 4 in the US. Well, Her. I had my first crush on a girl at 12 years old. I'm bisexual and will refer to myself as bisexual. Well, good for you because, a lot of people out here like to do the whole bi erasure thing. Kids know who they are. Exactly. Look, I knew I was into boys when I used to dare boys in the fifth grade to show me they dick. So what is she talking about? I knew exactly what I was, and they used to. This was this boy named Frankie. He had a big old penis. I used to get him to pull it out every time in class. Same thing with the goths and the ones who are into the alternative look. Mhm. Speaking of God, have you ever heard of this band called Bring Me the Horizon? I never heard of them, but I did their show the other day. It was good. It was loud, but it was good. And there was this band that came on before them. I cannot remember the name off the top of my head, but it got me interested in them because they show like the pride flag on the screen. And I'm like, let me find out y'all have been a rock concert. You showing the pride flag, and it was the new one with the trans colors in it and everything. He said, my mom knew I was gay at 5. Jazz knew she was trans at 5. Absolutely. Remember, she became famous when Oprah brought her on the show. He said, and friend to the show, Adante is saying, I want to drag little critters because Runway is no way to be. I mean, it's an all right song. You said something people who are bisexual went to Pan because Pan was more acceptable. That's like what's his name? What's his name? The Wayne Brady. Don't he come out? Isn't he pansexual? So yeah, I know Bring Me the Horizon. I used to listen to them back in high school. And it's funny because they showed this little montage. It's funny, I've never heard of them. But aside from the one person at my job, one of the security guards said, yeah, I only know one song it is, and it's on Fortnite. I started laughing. And it was a pretty good show. They definitely put on a good show. A lot of visuals and things. Lead singer's cute though. I had no idea they were from England. And yeah, it seemed like they had a lot of fans up in there. They had 2 pits. So we had a front pit and a back pit. The back pit was more crowded than the front pit, probably because the back pit was less expensive. Um, but yeah, and then they were crowd surfing. They were running around in little circles. The lead singer definitely gives a good show, and he had a little platinum blonde hair, like very Madonna in the erotica era. I mean, the girly show era. Um, and then they did like a little montage, and they showed Chester Bennington. So I was like, oh, let me find out y'all performed back in the day with Linkin Park. He said, "Bring Me the Horizon" is all right. There, that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, because I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's not something I would be into, but they definitely give a good live show. And like every band or artist that performs at Madison Square Garden, they were surprised that they actually sold it out. Yeah, one of my coworkers referred to it as that guy that killed himself. I was like, how dare you? I was like, his name is Chester. And I was like, if there was one tour, well, I already mentioned one earlier. I said 2 tours that I would love to have seen. Michael Jackson and Linkin Park. If there was a point that I could actually get to see them perform at, in concert and they hadn't passed away, those are 2 concerts I would have loved to have seen. And maybe Prince. But yeah, those are 2 I would have loved to have seen in my lifetime. But unfortunately, I never got around to seeing them perform live. And it's funny because I did what was it? I did Ozfest and all those stuff, and yeah, they didn't get to perform that. Maybe because Linkin Park didn't kind of fit into that whole aesthetic. But I am wondering, has Linkin Park ever performed? I should look that up. Has Linkin Park ever performed at Ozfest? Not ever won a Grammy. Actually, they did in 2001. Damn, I missed that one. They said they performed with Black Sabbath, Marilyn Manson, Slipknot, original self-titled lineup, Disturbed, and BLS. Well, I've seen Disturbed live, even though I don't particularly care for um Dave Draymond. The first time, because now he's a Zionist, and I know about him being like that back in the day. But I remember the first time I saw Disturbed in a smaller venue. He bitched and moaned the whole damn night. Man, I've seen Marilyn Manson live back in the day. I think I did see them perform. I think I did see them at Ozfest. I also seen and they were playing like little music in the thing, so they were playing Limp Bizkit. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I'm like, damn, I haven't heard this song in a long time. That was a throwback. And then they played they played Freak on a Leash by Korn. I was like, damn, that took me back to the music video. They used to play ad nauseum on TRL. And then they was playing damn, what's the name of the song? Is it I don't forget the name of the title of the song, but Self-Righteous Suicide by System of a Down. I was like, I used to love System of a Down back in the day. I would love to. Oh wait, I did see them perform. I said I would love to see them perform. I did see them perform live at Ozfest, so that was a fun time to be had. I saw Andrew WK too. They opened the whole show at Ozfest. That was a time to be had. Yes, we do. We love Mr. Tankian. That new MGK song with Fred Durst is actually kind of good. It pains me to admit that. Maybe he needs a ghostwriter because I never took MGK seriously as a rapper, chair. But you know. But anyway, oh damn, it's 8 o'clock on the dot. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Filtered. We're done with today's show. I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. Please hit that like and that subscribe, smash the notification bell. I know there's people that usually watch the show on the phone thingy, but I don't know what happened with that whole situation. I don't even know if I can get it back. So I gotta figure how to make that whole thing work, but I'll cut up the clips. I'll put it online and hopefully I'll check it out. But yeah, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're almost at 4K. 4K. Love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.